Chapter 436, The Champion of the Younger Generation 1. Chapter 436, The Champion of the Younger Generation 1. Brother. While Wang Xian was watching the saints and saintesses from various powerful forces walking in, he heard Xiaoyu calling him from his side. Let's get in too. Wang Xian said to Guan Shuqing and the girls before walking towards where Xiaoyu was. Xiaoyu followed the crowd from the Thistles and Thorns sect and waved towards Wang Xian and the girls. Let's go. It's about time. Wang Xian scrutinized Xiaoyu and Elder Fong from top to bottom. Both of them were wearing uniformly black attire which resembled trimmed armor. They also each had a black longsword in their hands. The skin-tight armor perfectly traced their figures. It was especially so for Elder Fong, who had a great figure. The black armor made her resemble the goddess of darkness. A dark charming aura emanated naturally from her. Her curves were what every man would desire. The outfit is pretty good. Wang Xian took a few more glances before complimenting Xiaoyu. Don't you think that I have the looks of a heroine now? Xiaoyu swung the bone sword in her hand as she joked. Since it's black, you look more like the Dongfang booby. Just watch how I'll go on a killing spree today and clinch the #1 spot on the Outstanding Young Heroes chart. Xiaoyu remarked proudly. Let's go. Wang Xian chuckled before walking in. The armor-like outfit was formed from their extended skeletal structure. With their armor alone, anyone under the half-step to Dan realm wouldn't be able to hurt them at all. Isn't that guy with the golden fan that mysterious young man from before? At this juncture, a young man near Wang Xian stared at him and asked. The crowd looked over and started observing Wang Xian curiously. This golden fan teenager seems to be Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown. The one beside him is the saintess of the Thistles and Thorns sect, Wang Yu. She's also the sister of Miracle Dr. Wang. It has to be. He must be Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown. Just look at the long sword at his waist. The mysterious golden fan teenager is Miracle Dr. Wang. It's no surprise now that he could defeat Bei Wuying, who has just reached the Inborn realm. He's Miracle Dr. Wang, the #1 on the Outstanding Young Heroes chart. Majestic and breathtaking. If it wasn't for Xiao Ran from the Xiao clan, Miracle Dr. Wang would be the youngest Inborn expert. This time, everyone's attention had fallen on Wang Xian. Brother, with the folded fan and your 5-colored divine dragon shirt, you look really flirtatious. Xiaoyu teased him. What do you know about it? Wang Xian chuckled. His white casual attire had the printing of 5-colored divine dragons. At the chest area, there were the words Dragon Sect embroidered. Mo Qinglong had it custom made. Rumble. What's that? Inborn spiritual beasts. Oh my god. They are using 2 inborn spiritual beasts to pull the carriage. At this moment the group heard a commotion from behind them, following which exclaims of the crowd could be heard. Wang Xian and the group looked over and were shocked to see a carriage moving rapidly towards them. 2 golden seahorses with terrifying aura were pulling the carriage. The 2 golden seahorses were over 2 meters large and they didn't have legs. Below the golden seahorses, there was a ball of blue seawater. The seawater pulled their bodies as they moved rapidly forward. 2 ropes were tied to their backs and were connected to a carriage. A young man sat on it with exquisite golden curtains in front of him to block the dust and sunlight. Behind the carriage, 2 middle-aged men followed closely. They had terrifying vibes around them. It's the young lord of Sea Serpent Island. He's the only son, Hai Long, of the Lord of Sea Serpent Island, who was widely regarded as the 2nd strongest in the country. The entrance of the young Lord of Sea Serpent Island is too extravagant. 2 inborn spiritual beasts to pull his carriage and another 2 inborn experts following behind. Even the saint and saintess of sacred clans and sacred sects couldn't hold a candle to him. He's the only son of the 2nd strongest man in the underworld. The resources he enjoys are even more than the saints of the sacred sects. If it wasn't for the sudden appearance of Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown, the #1 spot on the Outstanding Young Heroes chart would still belong to this young lord. The crowd was discussing fervently. As their eyes fell on the young lord of Sea Serpent Island, they turned next to Wang Xian and made a comparison. What do you guys think? Between the young lord of Sea Serpent Island and Miracle Dr. Wang, who is stronger? My guess would be the young lord of Sea Serpent Island. After all, he's the only son of the 2nd strongest man in the underworld. His strength isn't something that Miracle Dr. Wang could match. Just take a look at this lineup. It's not even a fair comparison. Although Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown is powerful, there are too many supreme talents this year. I'm guessing that Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown would at most make it to the top 5. That's my guess too. I'll bet on the young Lord of Sea Serpent Island to clinch the championship in a while. The surrounding crowd was enthusiastic about the event. What an ostentatious display. Xiao Yu looked towards the young Lord of Sea Serpent Island and exclaimed in shock. Let's go. Wang Xian chuckled before walking in. Behind them, the young Lord of Sea Serpent Island followed and entered the area. More and more people were heading in. When those who were here for a show saw the time, they also headed in the same direction. More and more people had gathered at the entrance. At this moment, 5 young men walked forward without expressions. Soon another 7 young men walked in. In the end, other than some random people entering the place, another group of 30 young men also headed in. Wow, what a huge area. When Wang Xian and the group entered, Xiao Yu instantly exclaimed in shock. There was an incomparably huge field with a 20-meter-tall stone monument in the middle. That's the named cliff. The top 20 supreme talents would earn the rights to leave their name on it based on the rankings. Around it, there were several elevated arenas to be used for battles. At the 2 sides there were 4 exceptionally huge service counters. The competition of the supreme talents would always attract the strongest members of the younger generation to participate. The first reason being one could become famous and the second was the rewards. The organizer of this competition would also be receiving bets for the competition. Everyone would be able to place their bets. The organizer would give all spiritual stones, spiritual grass and other items that were earned in the event to the supreme talents. Besides that, if the challenger were to lose in the Outstanding Young Heroes competition, he'd have to pay a price. The price could be the weapon one was using or any other items. One could even get an inborn spiritual weapon here. Moreover, if one party was dead, everything that belonged to the defeated would be transferred to the victor. Because of this rule, the battles of the Outstanding Young Heroes chart were a lot more brutal. However, this was the Underworld. Conflicts would never be lacking. If one had mediocre battle strength, he wouldn't become a supreme talent even if he had amazing gifts. Should we go place our bets? Xiao Yu looked around her and saw a substantial number of people gathering before the service counters. Let's go and take a look. Wang Xian smiled and walked towards the direction. When they had just entered the place, the group of young men had noticed their group. To put it more accurately, they had noticed Wang Xian. The title of the number 1 on the Outstanding Young Heroes chart still belonged to him. Chapter 437, The Champion of the Younger Generation 2. Chapter 437, The Champion of the Younger Generation 2. Young Master, that's Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown. Has Uncle Bien found the killer? Not yet, but the possibility of it being Miracle Dr. Wang's doing is quite high. Sect Master Bien has prepared to strike. Oh really? The information that Sect Master Bien received was that young Master Bien lost contact ever since he reached Shangjing. Back then Miracle Dr. Wang was in Shangjing too. Brother Quan was my playmate since we were young. How dare someone murder him? The killer deserves to die. Back at the center of the field stood 3 people from Medical Saint Sect. Among which, the young man Hua Mingshan, in the middle was staring in Wang Xian's direction. Flashes of cold radiance blinked in his eyes. Miracle Dr. Wang has domineering talents, and his arts of refining elixir pills was better than young Master Bien, an old man at the side whispered to Hua Mingshan. Since he can kill Brother Quan who was protected by the poison duo, I don't think he's that simple. He must possess a strength near pinnacle inborn. Hua Mingshan squinted his eyes slightly together as murderous intent flashed in his eyes as he stared daggers at Wang Xian. With an inborn spiritual weapon in his possession, no average inborn experts is of his match, said that old man slowly as he noticed the Zhan Lu sword at Wang Xian's waist. Bien family of Medical Saint Sect is better at refining medicines while the Hua family is more proficient in combat. I'll take care of this Miracle Dr. Wang so that Brother Quan can rest in peace too. Hua Mingshan said at a slow pace. Young Master, should we inform Sect Master Bien? Asked the old man with a frown. No. Let's meet this guy first. Hua Mingshan lifted his chin slightly. Bien family and Hua family of Medical Saint Sect had different fortes. Bien family was better at refining medicines while Hua family was more skilled in combat. Their most outstanding disciples of Medical Saint Sect were Bian Yaoquan and Hua Mingshan. In Medical Saint Sect, it was easy to groom an inborn expert with elixir pills. Outstanding young heroes chart was not the focus of Medical Saint Sects. As such, they would only send a disciple here to exhibit their prowess every few years. A disciple from Medical Saint Sect had already attended last year. Hua Mingshan had not been preparing to come this year. But he changed his mind when he found that Wang Xian was attending. Since young, Hua Mingshan had been taking all kinds of precious elixir pills, and he had advanced to inborn a few years ago. Besides, Hua family's cultivation was what attributed. With the special spiritual grass as supplements, their combat power would be extremely domineering. All Saint-class forces had their own strong advantages. Young Lord, that is Miracle Dr. Wang of Rivertown. Two powerful inborn spiritual beasts were lying at the other side of the field while the young Lord of Hai Long lifted open the veil and looked at the surroundings with some slack. None of the forces dared to approach this place. All of them stood far away and looked over with awe. Not even the people from sacred sects or sacred clans dared to come near them. As the only son of the second most formidable person in the underworld, his status was even higher than that of Saint. Besides, the Lord of Hai Jiao was a legend in his own lifetime. Even the sacred sects had to beware of him. Oh. Hai Long looked over with a faint smile on his face. The competition this year is far more interesting than before. So many people are here, which makes the game even more exciting. Saint Qi and Saint One of Dark Sect were standing alongside Sun Longxian, having conversations as they cast their attention in Wang Xian's direction. Some of the disciples from the sacred clan also looked over with curiosity. Xiao Ran was standing in the center among Xiao clan's people. He was beaming as he looked at his master with a sense of pride surfacing on his face. If my master participates in this ranking, no one will be his match. He'll be a bully if he does. Several elders around him immediately flattered him. But what they said was from the bottom of their hearts too. Even Laozu also remarked on the domineering prowess of Miracle Dr. Wang for coaching a 15-year-old inborn expert. Naturally, he was of the same realm as Laozu. For such an expert to attend the Outstanding Young Heroes competition, that would be abuse. This time, I'll strive to get a good ranking so that I'll not bring shame to my master. Xiao Ran chuckled as his youthful appearance was filled with fighting spirit. All the eyes of the elders in Xiao family were filled with admiration and impressiveness as they looked at the young clan leader. Miracle Dr. Wang of Rivertown. Just when Wang Xian and Xiao Yu were standing at the front desk, checking the odds for all the supreme talents, they heard a cold voice. Wang Xian raised his eyebrows as he spun around. The familiar outfit with a huge saint on it indicated the difference in their level of forces. Medical Saint Sect. Wang Xian looked at the young man who was staring at him. He cast his sight to the side, and there was an old man and a middle-aged man too. What's up? Nothing much. I just wanted to meet you and check with you about something. Hua Mingshan squinted his eyes a little. Have you seen my brother Bian Yaoquan? Her? Your brother is missing and you're looking for him at my side? Wang Xian threw Hua Mingshan a taunting look. He swept his gaze across the surroundings and noticed many people turning their attention in their direction. You know what I'm saying, don't you? Hua Mingshan glowered at Wang Xian with a cold look. In his hand he was holding on to an emerald twig that looked like some jewelry. What's going on? Why did Hua Mingshan of Medical Saint Sect look for Miracle Dr. Wang? Are they going to spar? The competition has not even started yet. Do they have some conflicts? Through their conversations, it seems like another disciple of Medical Saint Sect was involved. The crowd over at the front desk was caught by surprise when they overheard their conversations. Generally, the battle between a saint and a supreme talent happened in the arena. Why did Hua Mingshan look for Miracle Dr. Wang? I have seen 3 people from Medical Saint Sect. One young man who was tired of living and another 2 old men. I'm not sure if you're referring to that person. Wang Xian arched his lips slightly as he replied to Hua Mingshan plainly. Tired of living? Hua Mingshan slowly turned the branch in his hand with killing intent flashing in his eyes. Looks like the death of Bian Yaoquan of Medical Saint Sect really has got something to do with you. Ha, Wang Xian chuckled. If you're talking about that fellow who was tired of living, just say it. It's not a big deal anyway. He's dead. He beamed as he spat out the words with a casual face. Hua Mingshan was stunned and so were the surrounding people. Apparently, they were caught off guard when Wang Xian announced the death so easily. Hua Mingshan of Medical Saint Sect was clearly questioning Miracle Dr. Wang of Rivertown about whether he had killed another disciple. With no clear evidence, no one would own up to offending a sacred sect under this circumstance. Yet, Miracle Dr. Wang admitted it straight away by saying that the person was dead. In other words, it was clear that he had killed that person. Everyone found it unbelievable. All of them felt that this Miracle Dr. Wang was rather too full of himself. What? Do you want me to send the body to you? Wang Xian threw him a disdainful look. Bian Yaoquan from the Medical Saint Sect attempted to ambush me previously. It was only natural that I send him to hell. Chapter 438, The Champion of the Younger Generation, 3. Chapter 438, The Champion of the Younger Generation, 3. Bian Yaoquan from the Medical Saint Sect attempted to ambush me previously. It's only natural that I send him to hell. Wang Xian's voice reverberated across the crowd. He was completely casual in tone when he said it. However, a lot of people felt their hearts skip a beat because of what he said, as they were clearly dumbfounded. Miracle Dr. Wang admitted to killing the disciple of the Medical Saint Sect. Is this confidence or arrogance? No matter what, he's too darn cool. He killed the disciple of the Medical Saint Sect just because he tried to ambush him. Moreover, he admitted to it without any fear. The surrounding crowd was astonished as their eyes widened and stared at Wang Xian. At the same time, they couldn't help but exclaim at the thought of the incident. A short distance away, several young men and the disciples of various sacred sects raised an eyebrow. They hesitated for a moment before walking over. This was a huge incident. Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown had admitted to killing a disciple from the Medical Saint Sect. Great. I had not expected our brother from the Medical Saint Sect to be really killed by you. When Hua Mingshan heard Wang Xian, his face immediately sank as he stared at Wang Xian, brimming with killing intent. Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown, you are the first person to ever dare to kill the disciple of our Medical Saint Sect. You are also the one that is most deserving of death. The old and middle-aged men beside Hua Mingshan also squinted their eyes, which were beaming with killing intent. They had not expected Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown to admit to killing the disciple of Medical Saint Sect so casually. His casual tone was a clear insult to their Medical Saint Sect. If you wish to kill me, you'd better be prepared to be killed. Do you think I wouldn't dare to make a move just because you guys are from a sacred sect? Wang Xian looked at Hua Mingshan with ridicule as he continued. Since he dared to offend me, he better be prepared to die. The elders of the Sacred Followers Guild were one example. Your Medical Saint Sect won't be an exception. Damn. How dominant is he? So what if they are sacred sects? I have long heard that Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown is exceptionally arrogant, and today I have finally witnessed it with my own eyes. He's my idol. To be daring enough to admit he killed a disciple of the Medical Saint Sect, it's clear that he's making the Medical Saint Sect his enemy. Now I'm really curious why the incident with the Sacred Followers Guild ended without a clear explanation. It feels like Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown is going to get himself killed after offending sacred sect after sacred sect. The Medical Saint Sect isn't like the Sacred Followers Guild. The Medical Saint Sect adopted a family-style format. The Medical Saint Sect would never just let it go like the Sacred Followers Guild after he killed a disciple of the Bian family. So, I hope Miracle Dr. Wang has the strength to back his words. It's a natural thing to do since the disciple of the Medical Saint Sect wanted to kill him first. However, when the crowd heard Wang Xian, they exclaimed in astonishment. No one dared to say the same things Wang Xian had. If the disciples of a sacred sect offended you, you could either tolerate it or assassinate them without being discovered by the sacred sect. Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown was definitely the first one to admit his actions so openly. How incredible. It's no surprise you are ranked top on the Outstanding Young Heroes chart. Just considering your guts, no one would be a match. The only uncertainty is whether you will be finished off by the Medical Saint Sect subsequently. At this moment, a coarse voice sounded from the side. The crowd immediately looked over and realized it was Shi Ming from the Imperial Beast Sect. He seemed to have a little admiration for Wang Xian after the incident. TSK. He's simply courting his own death. For a person to go against a sacred sect, he must be tired of living. At the other end, Qiao Fuzi from the Qiao clan stared at Wang Xian with disdain as he remarked coldly. The crowd followed the voice and looked over once again. They saw Qiao Fuzi from the Qiao clan crossing his arms before his chest with disdain beaming in his eyes. So what if he was to go against a sacred sect? I wouldn't offend others if they didn't offend me. If the disciple of a sacred sect is courting death, he deserves his death. There's no way one should endure the humiliation. Xiao Ran from the Xiao clan had just arrived when he heard Qiao Fuzi. He replied plainly as he stared coldly at him. Qiao Fuzi felt a little insulted as he turned and glowered at Xiao Ran. His eyes beamed as he commented, "A disciple of a sacred clan dares to make such claims. A guy who becomes arrogant by relying on his family or sect will just be trash at the end of the day." Xiao Ran replied plainly to Qiao Fuzi. Fuck. These words are too domineering. A person who becomes arrogant because of his background will just be trash. Damn. This quote from the demon-like talent from Xiao clan is just darn passionate. It's no surprise he's a demon-like talent that has reached the inborn realm at the age of 15. For him to be able to say such words and have such a mentality, we aren't a match for him. Strength rules in the underworld. People might be fearful because you are a disciple of a sacred sect, but they would never respect you. Only true experts can command respect. He's indeed deserving of the title of the youngest inborn expert in history. The surrounding crowd looked towards Xiao Ran with shock and admiration. There were few people who could say those words. Moreover, he was a disciple of a sacred clan. One could say that there wouldn't be a second person like him. It's no surprise he could become an inborn expert at such a young age. Other than the resources he also has the right mentality and attitude. You. Qiao Fuzi glowered at Xiao Ran as his expression changed drastically. They were both disciples of sacred clans, but Xiao Ran's noble words had completely embarrassed him. At this moment, you should be saying you will wait for our contest in the Outstanding Young Heroes competition and speak with your strength. I will agree to your request. Looking at Qiao Fuzi, who had turned furious from embarrassment, Xiao Ran commented plainly. Oh, how domineering. I can now understand why the Laozu of Xiao clan has designated him to be the clan leader. He's simply too cool. He's my idol from now onwards. To speak with strength and not be arrogant because of his background. Ah. Wow. This little brother is so handsome. I'll wait for you to grow up and I'll marry you. With your looks, don't even bother thinking of marrying the young clan leader of a sacred clan. He's a 15-year-old inborn expert and could very well reach a higher realm when given time. All I wanted to ask is if the young clan leader is alright with guys? If he's only interested in girls, it's fine too. I can go to Thailand. The surrounding crowd erupted into a raucous discussion from what Xiao Ran said. This was the demeanor that a supreme talent should possess. Great. Just you wait. I'm going to let you kneel before me when the time comes. Qiao Fuzi's was flushed as he stared harshly at Xiao Ran. His expression had also turned hideous. Judging from what had transpired, this disciple of Qiao clan is a far cry from the young clan leader of the Xiao clan in the aspects of both mentality and demeanor of an expert. It would seem Xiao clan has a true supreme talent. This guy will definitely not be ordinary in the future. Around them, the elders of the saint and saintess were looking at Xiao Ran in awe. Several elders of the Xiao clan who were standing beside Xiao Ran were extremely proud. This was their young clan leader and his actions had been exceptionally dominant. At the side, there were also several disciples from sacred sects and clans who looked at this overly young inborn expert with surprise and astonishment. Tang Yinxian smiled faintly as she looked to Xiao Ran, turned to Hua Mingshan from the medical saint sect and eventually turned to Wang Xian. He's still as domineering as before. Recalling how this young man had annihilated the entire dark conjurers because of 2 disciples, and killed the saint and saintess of her heavenly sound sect, she could feel her heart thumping violently. In this generation of youths, who could be a match for him? Great. How domineering. Let me tell you this. No matter who you are and no matter what your reasons, you will die for killing the disciple of our medical saint sect. Chapter 439, The Champion of the Younger Generation 4. Chapter 439, The Champion of the Younger Generation 4. Great. How domineering. Let me tell you this. No matter who you are and whatever reasons you have, you will die for killing the disciple of our medical saint sect. Hua Mingshan's exasperated voice resounded as he stood there, watching Wang Xian with a pair of murderous eyes. Everyone was taken aback and at the same time they were impressed. Miracle Dr. Wang was impressive and he had guts. But even so, the Medical Saint Sect would not let him off. Medical Saint Sect was a dominant sacred sect that had a long history. Such an existence with a deep foundation was definitely daunting. Besides, they had powerful alchemists who could cultivate experts that were beyond any imagination. You will die. Hua Mingshan glowered at Wang Xian as he spat out the words. Wang Xian raised his eyebrows with a faint smile on his face. Behind him, Mo Qinglong and Mo Yuan exhibited a frosty look as they came forward, fixing their deadly eyes on the old man and the middle-aged man beside Hua Mingshan. In this case we shall see. Wang Xian grinned at Hua Mingshan. Boom. Mo Qinglong and Mo Yuan released their aura instantly as they locked their domineering vibe on the old man and the middle-aged man. Brother, let me protect you. Hee, I'll handle this fellow, said Xiaoyu to Wang Xian with a smile. A tinge of coldness flashed in her eyes when she noticed Hua Mingshan staring at Wang Xian with killing intent. At present, she already possessed a strong power, which allowed her to resolve some matters for her elder brother. She was no longer the younger sister who needed protection from her brother. As Xiaoyu spoke, she stepped forward with the bone sword in her hand, giving off a faint demonic aura. She fixed her deadly eyes on Hua Mingshan. The crowd froze as everyone was shocked. They struck. The few people beside Miracle Dr. Wang struck instantly. Damn, what is this going on? Are they trying to exterminate the people from Medical Saint Sect? They are going to fight. It's an obvious life or death battle. Impressive. Hua Mingshan has been rattling away for such a long time without making any moves. As a result, Miracle Dr. Wang of Rivertown is going to strike. They're completely in the bad books of Medical Saint Sect. When the crowd saw Xiaoyu, Mo Qinglong and Mo Yuan, they were appalled. Sure. Wang Xian nodded in reply to Xiaoyu as he looked at Hua Mingshan with a sneer on his face. Since they are enemies, just kill them off. What's the point of talking so much? Fine. Hua Mingshan had mixed expression as he clenched his fist while glaring at Wang Xian. He swept his gaze slowly towards Xiaoyu. Today we'll slaughter all of you. Initially, he had wanted to kill Miracle Dr. Wang off at the Outstanding Young Heroes competition. But he did not expect the other party to be so arrogant. You talk too much. Xiaoyu scoffed as she moved, lunging at Hua Mingshan. Mo Qinglong and Mo Yuan scorned and made a swift movement towards the old man and the middle-aged man beside Hua Mingshan. The domineering vibe struck fear into everyone around them, who quickly receded. Who's that young lady? She looks so young. How did she explode such daunting power? That's Miracle Dr. Wang's younger sister. It's a surprise that she has also advanced to the inborn realm. Another demon-like talent. Damn, why are there so many young inborns now? Everyone was appalled by the vibe exhibited by Xiaoyu. All of them staggered back. Upon seeing Xiaoyu assaulting him, Hua Mingshan revealed a bloodthirsty and malevolent look. He swung his arm and stuck the emerald twig on the floor. Ka. With a single move of his arm, the twig penetrated the hard and durable ground, rooted and multiplied. Soon, a 2-meter weird tree grew up, bearing twigs with sharp thorns that looked extremely prickly. This is the combat style of Hua family Medical Saint Sect. The art of cultivation they practiced is of wood attributes. If they were in the woods, their strength would be more powerful. This kind of cultivation has a weak combat power at the preliminary stage. But when they advance to the inborn realm, they are able to control the plants around them, which makes them a difficult opponent. This twig must come from a spiritual tree that can be used for controlling combat. The crowd erupted into discussions when they witnessed Hua Mingshan's way of attacking. While not many people had seen how the Hua family struck, they had mostly heard about it. Even the people from other Saint-class forces were curious to find out. After all, Medical Saint Sect was considered a semi-secluded sacred sect, which was rarely involved in any combat. I'll slaughter you first, then the other fellow who is tired of living. Hua Mingshan stood before the spiritual tree as he glared at Xiaoyu with an icy face. With a swing, he injected green energy into the spiritual tree. He raised his arm and brought it down, sending twigs with sharp thorns towards Xiaoyu. Her? Xiaoyu hesitated when she saw the twigs attack. She wielded her bone sword at it straight away. Oh, ignorance! Upon seeing her move, Hua Mingshan's eyes were filled with contempt. How could any weapon counter the spiritual scale tree? Not only could weapons not counter the twigs, but the twig could also wrap itself around weapons. Hua Mingshan raised his arm, bringing about dozens of sharp twigs dancing in the air. They darted out toward Xiaoyu just like flexible snakes. Xiaoyu snorted as the bone sword gave off black radiance with an edge, slashing all the twigs. Bang bang bang. What? How is this possible? When the bone sword and the twigs collided, the twigs of spiritual scale tree broke off easily. Disbelief filled Hua Mingshan's face as he was astounded. Humph, it only has the looks. Upon seeing the frail twigs, Xiaoyu was full of disdain. Moving in a quick stance, she lunged with her sword at Hua Mingshan. No, it can't be. This is impossible. Hua Mingshan could not believe this. The stem of spiritual scale tree stretched forward from behind as the 2-meter sharp thorn extended towards Xiaoyu. Counterpoint slay. Xiaoyu maintained a consistent look while shaking an afterimage out from the bone sword. Bang bang bang. All the twigs from spiritual scale tree broke off easily and fell to the ground. This Hua Mingshan is so weak. Thrashing. That's so weak. I don't feel that he's as strong as a half-step to Inborn. Yes, I agree. Medical Saint Sect is well known for their medical skills and art of refining. For their combat skills, they feel so weak. He's inadequate, and yet he actually declared that he wants to kill other people. Isn't this digging his own grave? Everyone was stunned and slightly at a loss of words when they witnessed how easily Xiaoyu defeated Hua Mingshan. From what they saw, the battle between Xiaoyu and Hua Mingshan was simple. Her sword cut the twigs easily and it was a done deal. This Hua Mingshan was a noob. Arg. At this time there were two devastating cries from the side. The old man and middle-aged man from Medical Saint Sect had fallen to the ground with eyes full of desperation. Chapter 440, The Champion of the Younger Generation. Chapter 440, The Champion of the Younger Generation. Rumble. Arg. A dull impact noise and two pitiful cries reverberated throughout the competition field of the Outstanding Young Heroes competition. The entire crowd had turned towards the source of the noises and everyone was shocked to see the old and middle-aged men from the Medical Saint Sect on the floor. Those two middle-aged men with Miracle Dr. Wang are really strong. Really strong. The old and middle-aged men from the Medical Saint Sect were completely overwhelmed. Those two middle-aged men that are emitting devilish aura are at least pinnacle Inborn experts. They might very well be even stronger. Is it my misconception? Why do I feel that the people from the Medical Saint Sect are really weak? They were completely crushed. The surrounding crowd were stunned and were discussing softly among themselves when they saw the old and middle-aged men being killed on the spot. What? How dare you kill the people from our Medical Saint Sect? At this moment, Hua Mingshan was furious upon hearing the cries. Fear flashed in his eyes as he growled softly. Hehe. Hearing Hua Mingshan, the surrounding crowd found him hilarious. It didn't matter if Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown was arrogant or simply courting his demise. Now that he had struck, he would be going after your life next. Saying those words at this point was hilarious. The people from sacred sects have been arrogant for too long to the point that they believe no one dares to kill them, a young man mumbled to himself as his eyes fixed on Hua Mingshan. The surrounding disciples of the sacred sects were taken aback as they witnessed the disciples of the Medical Saint Sect being slaughtered before their eyes. They looked to Wang Xian, raised an eyebrow and sank into thought. Don't you find it hilarious to say such words now? Xiaoyu looked coldly at Hua Mingshan as she waved the long sword in her hand towards Hua Mingshan. Our Medical Saint Sect won't let you off. Not a single one of you is getting away. Just wait for the endless revenge from our Medical Saint Sect. Hua Mingshan screeched wretchedly. Cold sweat had filled his forehead. Seeing the impossibly sharp bone sword, he gritted his teeth. Swish swish swish. The branches of the spiritual scale tree wiggled rapidly and weaved together to become an exceptionally huge wooden spear. Is that all you got? Seeing the changes to the spiritual scale tree, contempt gleamed in Xiaoyu's eyes as she threw herself forward with the bone sword. The spiritual scale tree was just like a poisonous snake with sharp thorns. It grew to over 5 meters long and struck towards Xiaoyu. Kill, shouted Xiaoyu. The bone sword in her hand emitted a black glow that extended to over 1 meter long. The black glow had turned the bone sword into a giant blade that slashed against the spiritual scale tree. Ka. Sounds of the spiritual scale tree cracking reverberated while the bone sword slashed toward Hua Mingshan as though there was nothing in its way. No. Hua Mingshan was desperate. He dodged, turned around and fled immediately. Running? It's a little too late for that. Seeing Hua Mingshan running away, ruthlessness gleamed in the eyes of Mo Yuan. He moved and caught up with Hua Mingshan instantly. Bam! A terrifying devil claw gripped onto his back instantly. The next moment, it pierced through his body. Cough cough. Hua Mingshan's body stiffened and he was spitting out a mouthful of blood. He turned around and looked towards the direction where Wang Xian was with disbelief. Our medical saint sect will never, never let you off. Bam. Hua Mingshan fell to the ground and vitality deserted him. When the crowd saw Hua Mingshan being killed before them, they felt a chill run down their spines. Thinking back, Hua Mingshan was still basking in the limelight a while ago. He arrived here as the disciple of the medical saint sect and one would regard him as a distinguished guest. When he was here he was looking down on everyone around him. It was also because of his connection with the medical saint sect that he was brazen and felt that no one dared to offend him. This eventually led to his death. He's indeed savage and brutal. How lucky are we? Fortunately. Saint Qi and Saint Wen, who were standing beside Sun Longshan a short distance away, swallowed their saliva. They could feel cold sweat over their foreheads. Fortunately, he had not offended Miracle Dr. Wang completely the previous time. Otherwise, even his identity of being the son of the richest man in the southern province would mean nothing. He's really fearless. Saint Qi and Saint Wen exchanged glances and heaved a sigh of relief. However, this type of person often dies young. No matter how great his talents are, it will just be a matter of time until he is killed because of his arrogance. A short distance away, Qiao Fuzi snorted. He looked at Wang Xian and contempt flashed in his eyes. Those who are insanely gifted often die prematurely. Considering his personality, Miracle Dr. Wang from River Town won't live past a few years. He's too fearless. The underworld has its rules and a sacred sect is a sacred sect after all. Considering his style of actions, he won't survive for long. Unless he can run to a faraway place, otherwise the medical saint sect will definitely finish him off. Even if that means deploying all the strength of the medical saint sect, they won't let him off. He was blinded by anger. In my opinion, Miracle Dr. Wang is too foolish to offend a sacred sect completely. The consequences won't be that simple. Perhaps he felt he could be fearless and disregard all rules after living well subsequent to slaughtering the elders of the Sacred Followers Guild. Seeing Miracle Dr. Wang from River Town ordering his men to kill the 3 people from the medical saint sect, the surrounding crowd was stunned. At the same time, they felt that Miracle Dr. Wang from River Town was fearless. It was especially so for the disciples from strong backgrounds. When they witnessed the development, they snorted. The current Miracle Dr. Wang did look incredible when he ordered his guys to kill the disciples of a sacred sect in the public. However, they knew clearly the consequences he had to bear after the moment of glory. This is interesting. This is interesting. Flower Monk looked at Wang Xian and squinted his eyes. The battles of the Outstanding Young Heroes competition aren't contests of one's background. They are contests of strength. That's right. The titles of saint or saintess mean nothing here. The champion of the younger generation isn't something you can obtain by relying on your background. A bewitching young man stared at the crowd before turning his attention to Ming from Imperial Beast Sect and revealing a cunning smirk. He was that demon-like young man in the carriage. That's right. The Outstanding Young Heroes chart is all about one's personal strength. In a while, I'd like to seek guidance from everyone here. At this juncture, the crisp voice of a lady resonated. The crowd turned around and saw a young girl in the traditional attire of a minority group. She had over 10 metal rings around her neck and was flicking her hair flirtatiously. "Let's meet again in the arena," a young man commented plainly before turning around and heading in another direction. The atmosphere of a battle was starting to form. Outstanding young disciples from all over the world lifted their heads proudly while looking at their competitors. They were all confident in what they were capable of. Having reached the inborn realm at a young age, they were all favored by gods and fully confident in themselves. Even when facing other insanely gifted talents, they didn't feel that they would lose. They strongly believed they were the champions of the younger generation. Chapter 441 Sacred Sect, Dragon Sect, 1. Chapter 441, Sacred Sect, Dragon Sect, 1. Young Lord, the two middle-aged men behind Miracle Dr. Wang possess formidable strength. One of them should have advanced to half-step to Dan realm. Oh really? That Miracle Dr. Wang is really one of a kind to have such forces at such an age. Back at the center of the competition field, the young lord swept his gaze across the three bodies on the floor and beamed. He's not bad, but I'm afraid it's going to be over for him after he offended the medical saint sect. Unless he goes into hiding, he'll be doomed. Not everyone could possess invincible strength like our Lord. The two middle-aged men were evaluating everything plainly as they remained unwavering when Wang Xian's gang killed the three disciples of the sacred sect. You're right. Not everyone possesses the strength of my father. Young Lord of Sea Serpent Island revealed a prideful look as his father was the goal in his life. Hai Jiao, a well-known figure in the underworld who was awe-inspiring. He possessed a reputation that was similar to that of a sacred sect. Not many people knew that his father had annihilated a Saint-class force overseas. He was unrivaled and was one of the best in the entire Asian Sea region. Besides, he knew that his father had far more power than anyone could imagine. Which force does the girl from Yaojiang Flower Monk and that fair-looking young man come from? Asked the young lord of Sea Serpent Island as he stepped off from the carriage and looked around the field. If I'm not mistaken, the Flower Monk should be from Devil Spirit's Temple, and that young man is from Devil Corpse Palace. A middle-aged man speculated with a stern look. Devil Spirit's Temple and Devil Corpse Palace. The young lord was slightly stunned as he narrowed his pupils. Two from the Diabolism? Is the Diabolism emerging? No idea, but if they do, the underworld will be in chaos again, the middle-aged man said with a sunken expression as he recalled. The so-called Diabolism was not talking about practicing arts of cultivation that were of devil attributes. It was also not referring to those eccentric and unreasonable people who went around killing the innocents. The true demons controlled corpses, turned humans into puppets, sucked the blood essence of others. They inflicted harm on other people just to enhance their cultivation. This bunch of people and their practice was known by the underworld as Diabolism, as what they practiced was evil. The Diabolism was once being annihilated by Saint-class forces led by Donghua Sacred Sect and the other powerful ancestral sections. Whereas Nie Wushuang, the sect leader of Donghua Sacred Sect, was known to be the #1 strongest expert in the underworld during this annihilation. Since then, Diabolism went into seclusion, and they had not made an appearance for the past 50 years. Devil Spirit's Temple enhanced their cultivation by condensing bloodlust to extract blood essences from humans and other living beings. Subsequently, they will refine and feed on it. Devil Corpse Palace will refine themselves or other people into corpses. The cultivation arts of these two sects are extremely gruesome. Since they are here to participate in the Outstanding Young Heroes chart, I guess Diabolism is going to be active again. The young lord displayed the trace of a smile on his face. Looks like the opponents that are in my way to attaining the role of champion of the Outstanding Young Heroes chart will be these two fellows. Given your strength of pinnacle inborn, coupled with a few inborn spiritual weapons, so what if they are from Diabolism? Still, they had to go into hiding to survive 50 years ago. The middle-aged man giggled as he flattered the young lord. Haha, even so, we cannot underestimate them. Let's go. The young lord put on a confident look and strode towards the arena. The crew from the organizer was standing at the stage. All the surrounding disciples were moving towards the stage as well. Disciples of various ancestral sects divided themselves clearly on one side. There were 5 arenas in the field, which could hold 5 competitions at one time. Wang Xian, Xiaoyu and the rest headed for the biggest arena at the center. The remaining disciples of sacred sects were also going for the same arena. It's going to start soon. Gosh, I just made a count secretly. There were more than a dozen supreme talents of inborn level. More than a dozen. That's 4 to 5 times more than in the past. There's no chance for us. But we didn't make a wasteful trip since we can watch those outstanding supreme talents fighting among themselves. Those experts below the inborn levels are going to be awkward. They can only be ranked after the 10th. The ones who came are getting more impressive. The young disciples sized up all the mighty supreme talents from the side as they exchanged views and whispers. When Wang Xian and gang came to the arena, Xiao Ran and his clan members were already standing below the stage. Xiao Ran gave him a hearty smile. Long time no see, Miracle Dr. Wang. Just then, a voice that was music to the ears was heard from the side. Wang Xian spun around and saw Tang Yinxian. With a smile he said, Miss Tang, how are As he greeted her, he could feel the muscles at his waist convulsing. He drew his lips and looked towards Guan Shuqing and Lan Qingyue beside him. Haha, Miracle Dr. Wang is getting more and more suave. When Tang Yinxian spotted Guan Shuqing and Lan Qingyue by the side, there was an inexplicable look in her eyes. Her voice turned slightly cold. Cough. Wang Xian gave an awkward smile and kept his silence. Several elders beside Tang Yinxian were puzzled as they looked at her. Then they whispered a few words to her. The Outstanding Young Heroes chart ranks you by your strength. I'm sure everyone is clear about the rules. Anyone can come to the arena. The top 20 people are able to leave their names at the cliff for people to pay tribute to. It's life and death in the arena. At this time, the organizer began to speak from the arena. It was a brief introduction and everyone knew about it. Without strength that is above half-step to inborn, they can forget about going to the arena. It's going to be interesting for this year's ranking. A faint voice was heard. Everyone looked over and saw a middle-aged man wearing an outfit with an island on it. All of them revealed a look of awe on their faces. Young Lord of Sea Serpent Island. He drew his lips and swept his gaze across all the young people. With a beam he said, 20. The 20 of us shall take the seats. What? Whatever the young Lord of Sea Serpent Island said surprised everyone. 20? Are there 20 inborn supreme talents here? I don't think so. Miracle Dr. Wang and his sister. Young Lord of Sea Serpent Island, Xiao Ran from Xiao Clan, Xiao Fuzi from Xiao Clan, Tang Yinxian from Heavenly Sound Sect, Saint Qi and Saint Wen from Dark Sect, Flower Monk and the mysterious young man in the sedan. Including the current 3 inborn experts on the chart, there are only 13. That girl with steel rings around her neck should be an inborn expert. That makes it 14. Another 6 more people? Gosh, half-step to inborn experts are unable to make it on the Outstanding Young Heroes chart this year. All of them looked around. In the past, even level 9 martial artists were eligible to participate. With the numbers of inborns around, they could not stand a chance. Chapter 442 Sacred Sect, Dragon Sect 2. Chapter 442, Sacred Sect, Dragon Sect 2. Weaklings can just stay off or be killed. While the surrounding crowd was looking around them curiously, the emotionless voice of a young man resonated. 20 supreme talents. It's only interesting this way, said another young man. My initial aim was to just have some fun here. However, after seeing so many supreme talents, let me have some real fun. The Outstanding Young Heroes chart in previous years has been inflated. This year is really interesting. For this year, I'll declare myself as the champion then. The voice of 2 other young men reverberated. Every single one of them was hugely confident in themselves as they spoke. They remained exceptionally confident in themselves despite facing the saints of sacred sects and clans, knowing the battle records of Miracle Dr. Wang from River Town, and having the young master of Sea Serpent Island around. This was a form of confidence that only the strong experts possessed. Gosh. There are 6 more inborn experts hidden within the crowd. Oh my god. The Outstanding Young Heroes chart only ranks the top 20. Those who haven't reached the inborn realm can forget about it. Don't embarrass yourself by participating. The contest would be interesting. Regardless, I'm not qualified. The surrounding crowd was shocked by the young men who spoke. Every single one of them was emanating strong confidence. At this juncture, all the supreme talents weren't hiding anymore and stood at the front. Some had their arms crossed while others held long swords in their hands. Some had their hands behind their back, lifting their heads slightly and displaying the demeanor of an expert. The surrounding crowd of thousands of people looked at the 20 people in awe and respect. As for those half-step to inborn experts who were still looking to showcase their abilities on the Outstanding Young Heroes competition, they were feeling extremely bitter. The competition this year was simply too insane. The last few inborn supreme talents that stood out were all disciples from powerful first-class forces. All the weapons in their hands look extraordinary. Those that could become inborn experts at this age are undoubtedly outstanding disciples who are the focus of nurturing in their sections. Their weapons and hidden trump cards are definitely terrifying. The surrounding crowd discussed fervently. Let's get it started. Xiao Ran looked across the dozen-odd inborn experts and showed a faint smile. Since I'm the youngest, let me choose my opponent first. Xiao Fuzi from Xiao Clan stepped forward. As Xiao Ran spoke, he got moving and flew to the middle of the arena directly. His eyes were fixed on Xiao Fuzi. Dumbass. Today I'll put you who don't know what's best for you on the ground. Xiao Fuzi's expression turned chilling. He leapt into the air and landed before Xiao Ran while staring harshly at him. I'll be taking your sword. Xiao Ran said plainly while staring at the long sword with savage beast engravings in Xiao Fuzi's hand. Ah! I'll slice you down with it. Xiao Fuzi broke into hysterical laughter. Dang. The sounds of a treasured sword leaving the scabbard shocked the surrounding martial artists who were carrying long swords. The name of this sword is Despondent Sword. I have defeated 3 inborn experts with it. You shall be the 4th. Xiao Fuzi pointed his despondent sword proudly at Xiao Ran. Shinx. The name of my sword is Ancient Spiritual Sword. I have killed more than 3 inborn experts with it. Xiao Ran drew his ancient spiritual sword directly and met the cold gaze of Xiao Fuzi. SSS. Inborn spiritual weapons. 2 inborn spiritual weapons. Fuck. The people from the sacred clans are darned loaded. An inborn spiritual weapon could increase one's battle strength substantially. Since both of them have inborn spiritual weapons, the outcome of the contest will be dependent on their individual strength. Who do you think will win? Xiao Fuzi is 30 years old this year and his battle experiences are definitely richer than Xiao Ran. Although Xiao Ran is the youngest inborn expert in the underworld, his youth is also a weakness. He's lacking in experience. A demon-like talent like him couldn't be assessed using common sense. Let's just watch. Place your bets. Place your bets. You can place your bets on the Underworld website. Pa. Just as the crowd was discussing fervently, Xiao Ran and Xiao Fuzi clashed. As the inborn spiritual weapons clashed, sounds of metal clashing reverberated through the skies. Everyone was astonished and watched the battle in the arena attentively. Ah! Damn brat. What gives you the guts to be so arrogant with your level of strength? After the first collision, Xiao Ran was knocked several steps back. Xiao Fuzi laughed loudly and brazenly as he stared at Xiao Ran with contempt. TSK. Xiao Ran snorted but remained unmoved. He executed his phantom sword technique, which was exceptionally frightening. Xiao Fuzi focused his attention, wiggled his arms and strengthened the golden glow on his despondent sword. Golden Ray Embodiment. As he shouted, he turned completely golden and was charging ahead with his sword. Around the despondent sword, golden long swords that were formed from metal attribute energy appeared suddenly. Over 10 golden long swords emitted dazzling rays. That's Qiao Clan's Golden Ray Embodiment. The Qiao Clan is known for their golden ray blades. They are extremely deadly and incomparably domineering. The surrounding crowd was shocked to see Xiao Fuzi emitting golden rays. Xiao Fuzi, together with his inborn spiritual weapon, could match those experienced inborn experts in battle. It will be hard for Xiao Ran to clinch the victory. What a shame. The crowd around the arena was analyzing the battle as it progressed. Several members of the Qiao clan revealed satisfying expressions and looked mockingly in the direction of the Xiao clan. However, a few elders from the Xiao clan were smirking. This was just the beginning. Golden Ray Embodiment. Looking at the blinding golden rays, Xiao Ran squinted his eyes and flexed his body. Boom. A chilling yet scorching blue flame was emitted from his body creepily. The flames covered the ancient spiritual sword and Xiao Ran, turning him into a man burning in blue flames. Have a taste of my tranquil blue heavenly flame. Xiao Ran swung his long sword and creepy blue flowers emerged around him. This move is called Tranquil Blue Flowers. Xiao Ran charged ahead without fear. Heavenly Flame. Oh gosh. It's a heavenly flame. SSS. He got a heavenly flame. In the entire underworld, there are probably only 2 to 3 people who possess a heavenly flame. Moreover, every single one of them is exceptionally powerful. Several members of the Qiao clan were taken aback as their expressions turned gloomier. What? Xiao Fuzi was also shocked to see Xiao Ran shrouded in blue flames. Wong. At this instant, the swaying tranquil blue flowers clashed heavily with the golden ray blades and resulted in frightening explosions. As the blue flame contacted the golden blades dissipated one after another. Bam. The ancient spiritual sword slashed downward and blue sparks sputtered. Xiao Fuzi was flabbergasted as he saw the flames land on him. This is bad. His golden body was easily penetrated by the tranquil blue heavenly flame and the terrifying temperature sent chills down his spine. Rumble. Qiao Fuzi gathered the golden rays towards his chest as he retreated rapidly. The golden rays withstood the attack for a moment before falling onto the floor of the arena. Papa. 2 1-meter-deep holes appeared instantly. What an incredible heavenly flame. The arena was forged using the toughest stone from Huashan. Yet, the heavenly flame was able to burn out such terrifying holes. The crowd's eyes contracted unconsciously as they witnessed the deep holes on the ground of the arena. Even the inborn experts frowned upon witnessing the strength of the heavenly flame. Qiao Fuzi's face was covered in cold sweat as he stared at the potholes caused by that blue heavenly flame. He was exceptionally impressed and frightened. Aren't you going to admit your defeat? If the tranquil blue heavenly flame landed on your body, you wouldn't be able to withstand it. Chapter 443 Sacred Sect, Dragon Sect, 3. Chapter 443, Sacred Sect, Dragon Sect, 3. Aren't you going to admit your defeat? If the tranquil blue heavenly flame landed on your body, you wouldn't be able to withstand it. Xiao Ran drew his lips with a cold smile as he stared at Qiao Fuzi. Qiao Fuzi had a huge change in his expression. His body trembled while the palm that was gripping the despondent sword grew pale. An elder below said with a gloomy face, "We lost. Fuzi." Fine. Qiao Fuzi gritted his teeth as he inserted his sword back into the scabbard with an awful look. He threw a death stare before he hurled the sword to Xiao Ran. Thank you. Xiao Ran took over the despondent sword with thrills. Inborn spiritual weapons were precious treasures, even in the sacred clans. The inborn spiritual weapon coupled with the heavenly flame has pushed the strength of Xiao Ran close to a pinnacle inborn. That's the suppression of equipment. Just like a cannon matched against a gun. Weapons are just part of the strength, so is luck. We've got to admit that. Some of the surrounding crowd remarked with envy. The world is unfair. Some people are born to be at the peak, but some people will never reach the summit. Looks like there are many experts today. Just when a soft voice cut the air, an ominous and pale-looking young man stalked to the front with a smiling face. The grin was somewhat creepy and cold, which struck an uneasiness into everyone. He was holding onto a gray umbrella with pictures painted on it. Those were extremely spooky corpses and coffins. Who is that mysterious young man going to challenge? He was sitting in an ancient sedan carried by 4 half-step to inborn experts. He is a mystery. I wonder which force he came from. He gives off a creepy feeling. I wonder how strong he is. All eyes were on that mysterious young man. He opened his umbrella and gently leaped into the arena. The fair and ominous face was looking in the direction of Shi Ming from Imperial Beast Sect. Get over here and receive your death. Her? He's challenging Shi Ming from Imperial Beast Sect. How courageous is he? He actually asked Shi Ming out to receive his death. He's challenging the disciple from Imperial Beast Sect. A human and a beast from Imperial Beast Sect are equivalent to 2 inborn experts. With the combination of the two, their combat power is recognized as the strongest existence among the same level. What kind of strength does this mysterious young man possess such that he dares to challenge Shi Ming? The people below the arena froze as they looked at the ominous-looking young man who was holding the umbrella with bewilderment. All of them were looking surprised. Roar. The one who replied to that ominous-looking young man was not Shi Ming, but the roar from the king of the forest. Haha, Imperial Gale, are you hungry? Let's go, I'll find you a piece of meat. Shi Ming stroked the roaring lion and laughed loudly as he sat on him. Roar. Shi Ming let out a low bellow and made a leap into the arena that was 20 meters away. Boom. With the release of immense oppression, roaring lion stared at the ominous-looking young man with bloodthirsty eyes while revealing his ghastly teeth. Haha, I thought it was a lady in the sedan. I didn't expect it to be a man. What a disappointment. The coarse voice of Shi Ming was heard as he sat on the roaring lion, looking down at that ominous-looking young man. Ha ha. That ominous-looking young man giggled, revealing his sparkling white teeth. Without a word, he made a swift movement in an attempt to attack Shi Ming. Umph. Upon seeing his offense, Shi Ming swung his arm and assembled a few rods that were found on the roaring lion, forming a 2-meter-long halberd. Phew. He swept the halberd forward. Woohoo. At this time, dark and cold radiance flickered in the ominous-looking young man's eyes. He pointed the tip of the gray umbrella ahead while looking at the roaring lion below. Roar. The roaring lion lifted his chin as a frightening windstorm made its way to encompass that ominous-looking young man. The most powerful thing about Imperial Beast Sect was they could launch an assault together with their inborn spiritual beast. The strength exploded by the combination of a human and a beast way surpassed two inborn experts. Bam! Despite the gray umbrella tip having blocked the sword, the ominous-looking young man remained unmoved with the windstorm generated by the roaring lion. He pulled the gray umbrella upwards, releasing a grayish mist that slayed the head of the roaring lion. Poof! A shriek was heard as the ominous-looking young man twisted his umbrella, floating more than 10 meters away. Boom! A loud thud was heard as the lion head rolled down the floor. What? This. All the surrounding people were aghast when they saw the lion head rolling out of the arena. Everyone found it hard to believe. Single strike. A single strike was all it took to slay the inborn spiritual beast of Shiming from Imperial Beast Sect. How is this possible? Imperial Gale. All the people watched the scene before them with disbelief while Shiming let out a sorrowful cry. He was so startled to see his roaring lion beneath him beheaded. His body shook slightly. He had actually chopped off his head in a single strike. How dare you kill my Imperial Gale? Shiming was infuriated as he clutched his halberd with bloodshot eyes. With a malevolent expression, he turned to look at that ominous-looking young man. Next is you. The ominous-looking young man revealed a smirk as he twisted the gray umbrella in his hand for a direct kill at Shiming. We lost. Just then, the golden bird on a young man's shoulder was rotating his watery eyes with a mouth that spoke in a human voice. Subsequently, that golden spiritual bird moved like a bolt of lightning above Shiming, grabbed his clothes and flew down from the arena. That young man from Imperial Beast Sect immediately lowered down his head and greeted, Elder Feng Ling. The golden spiritual bird did not pay attention to that young man. Instead, he stared at that ominous-looking young man with golden eyes gleamed with wisdom. You won. Her? The ominous-looking young man looked at that golden spiritual bird with wariness in his eyes. He swung his arm and he floated down the arena with his gray umbrella. An empty space was immediately opened up around him as everyone stared at him with an appalled look. Invincible. He's simply too powerful with that daunting umbrella. That umbrella is at least an inborn spiritual weapon. But what's that gray mist about? With such a strength, he should be crowned as the champion. What's that golden spiritual bird? It speaks human language and it possesses such domineering wisdom. That golden spiritual bird was fast. That disciple of Imperial Beast Sect even addressed it as Elder. Everything, including the mighty ominous-looking young man and the mystical golden spiritual bird, was incredible. The outstanding young heroes competition this time had widened their horizons. That grayish mist must be some bloodline that is similar to Kuan, which is also a decadent creature. He must be a pinnacle inborn. That golden spiritual bird has a very high IQ. The Imperial Beast Sect has lived up to their name. The golden spiritual bird should be at least a half-step to Dan Realm expert. Wang Xian watched in astonishment. He looked around those flabbergasted martial artists with an arching of his lips. You guys can carry on showing off. After you're done, it's my turn. Chapter 444, Sacred Sect, Dragon Sect, 4. Chapter 444, Sacred Sect, Dragon Sect, 4. The outstanding young heroes chart this year is sick. They aren't just sick. All of them are demons. I thought Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown was incomparably strong. However, that mysterious young man turned out to be even more frightening. The corpse of the roaring lion was taken by that ominous-looking young man. That's the biggest insult to the Imperial Beast Sect. Looking at the circumstances, if it wasn't for that mystical golden spiritual bird that flew over, Shiming would likely have been killed. Below the arena, the crowd was still discussing. Shiming was shivering as he witnessed the corpse of his companion being lifted away. His eyes were bloodshot. However, the loser had to pay a price in this arena. He couldn't say anything against the ominous-looking young man for taking away the corpse of the roaring lion. These were the rules and no one could break them. Otherwise, he would be looked down upon by everyone. The remaining supreme talents were also looking at that ominous-looking young man with fear and shock. It's no surprise considering that he's from the Devil Corpse Palace. With his creepy attacking methods, powerful physical body and inborn level strength, there would be few who could be a match for him here. The young lord of Sea Serpent Island squinted his eyes and commented. However, I'll definitely be able to defeat him within 100 moves. It's our turn. Which two brothers would like to spar with us? At this juncture, Saint Chi and Saint One from the Dark Sect jumped into the air before landing in two different arenas. Both of them smiled radiantly as they issued an open challenge to the supreme talents below the stage. Let me give it a try. Let me give it a try. Soon two young men jumped up. Their eyes were fixed on Saint Chi and Saint One as they clasped their left fists in their right palms and said, "Please enlighten me. Let's start with something cool. Level 9 Shadow Blades." Saint Chi and Saint One from the Dark Sect each drew a dagger as they spoke to their opponents. Great. It's only interesting this way. The other two supreme talents also drew their weapons which had identical value. Please enlighten me. The contest started once again. However, it wasn't as brutal as before and resembled ordinary sparring. The contest ended with the Dark Sect losing in one and winning in the other. Following next, one after another outstanding young inborn expert went up to the arena. If they did not have a prior feud, they typically wouldn't risk their lives in battles. Below the stage, all the proud and talented young men were watching each battle attentively. From the battles, they were able to analyze and tell who was stronger or weaker than them. At the same time, it gave them a rough idea of the eventual ranking on the Outstanding Young Heroes chart. As for the remaining crowd, they were shocked by the intense and competitive battles. Wang Xian was smirking confidently while watching the battles develop. Up to this point, that ominous-looking young man was the strongest. It would be a little troublesome for the Dragonians to defeat him. However, he relied on his bloodline just like the Dragonians. The Dragonians still have over a 70% chance of winning. As for the rest, they are relatively weaker. Wang Xian squinted his eyes and his attention fell on the young lord of Sea Serpent Island and the Flower Monk. Both of them were slightly stronger. Soon after, the Flower Monk fought with another young man. In less than 10 moves, he defeated the young man easily. No one was able to tell his actual strength yet. The Flower Monk had shocked the crowd with his strength. To this point, the surrounding crowd had a rough understanding. Based on those who had fought, the young lord of Sea Serpent Island was undoubtedly relatively stronger. After him, it would be the Flower Monk and that ominous-looking young man. Also, there was still Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown who had not participated. In their views, Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown should at least be as strong as the three of them. As for Xiao Yu, not many held high hopes for her. When fighting with Hua Mingshan, her moves were too simple. As such, no one really found her to be strong. Suddenly, all the disciples of sacred clans, sacred sects and powerful forces received a message from their clans and sections. When they saw the message, they were taken aback and shocked. The battles of the Outstanding Young Heroes competition were streamed on the website of the Underworld. Those who weren't at the competition ground had their attention fixed on the Underworld website. The total bets that had been placed for the current Outstanding Young Heroes competition had also reached an astronomical figure of over $50 billion. The entire Underworld was talking about the happenings of the Outstanding Young Heroes competition. On the forum, there was various analysis on who would become the champion for the year. However, another thread had attracted more views than the thread on the competition. The thread was about Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown killing 3 men from the Medical Saint Sect. Moreover, this incident had happened before the Outstanding Young Heroes competition. At that point, someone had posted about the incident on the Underworld website and shocked the entire Underworld. When they saw the photos of the bodies, they were terrified. In the thread, there was a detailed explanation of the flow of events. What? Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown killed the disciple of the Bien branch of Medical Saint Sect? And he just killed Hua Mingshan and his close confidants from the Hua branch of Medical Saint Sect. Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown must be really eager to die. Just some time ago he killed the elders from the Sacred Followers Guild. Now he's killed so many people from the Medical Saint Sect. The disciple of the Bien branch and Hua Mingshan were both rumored to be the most outstanding disciples of the current generation in Medical Saint Sect. Who would have thought that they would be killed? Miracle Dr. Wang's actions are clearly an open provocation to the Medical Saint Sect. They wouldn't rest till one party perishes. Definitely. The Medical Saint Sect would want to kill Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown even if it meant deploying all the influence and strength of the entire sect. Who would have expected Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown to be so brazen? Not only did he admit to killing the disciple from the Bian branch, he even killed the disciple from the Hua branch on the spot. What an insane person. All the martial artists around were initially interested in the battles of the Outstanding Young Heroes competition. However, they started discussing the message after seeing it. In the short frame of 10 minutes, the number of replies had reached 100,000. The current incident was even more shocking than Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown killing the elders from the Sacred Followers Guild. Killing the most outstanding disciples of the Medical Saint Sect had breached the bottom line of the Medical Saint Sect. At this juncture, it was just like what everyone in the underworld had expected. When the Medical Saint Sect received the news, the entire Medical Saint Sect was shocked. Kill him. Annihilate him and all his family, friends and kin. Leave not a single person behind. Within a quiet mountain valley, an angry roar resounded. In a majestic structure, two middle-aged men sat on two chairs in the middle of the structure. Below them there was another old man. Everyone here was gloomy and filled with killing intent. How dare he kill the disciple of the Medical Saint Sect? It would seem we have stayed low for too long. I want to shred him into thousands and thousands of pieces right now. Besides the screaming middle-aged man, another middle-aged man closed his eyes slightly while leaning back in his chair. Brimming with killing intent, he remarked coldly, "We wouldn't let him live for even a second more." The middle-aged man by the side nodded his head. He clenched his fist tightly and instructed, "Take out 2 level 6 elixir pills and pay all the price required. Send out our disciples and shred him to pieces. After that, we will go for anyone who is connected to him." Chapter 445, Sacred Sect. Dragon Sect, 5. Chapter 445, Sacred Sect. Dragon Sect, 5. Bian Yaoquan from Bian family was the son of one of the 2 sect masters of Medical Saint Sect. Hua Mingshan from Hua family was the son of the other sect master of Medical Saint Sect. The death of 2 sons of the sect masters who were the most outstanding disciples in Medical Saint Sect outraged the Medical Saint Sect. Kill him now. We cannot tolerate it any longer. The message was passed to some of the sacred sects, sacred clans and ancestral sections. When they received the message, they were shocked by the benefits promised by Medical Saint Sect in the killing order. Whoever kills Miracle Dr. Wang of Rivertown and his gang, they will get 2 level 6 elixir pills as payment. Apart from this, they will also refine elixir pills free 10 times. All participants will receive a handsome reward. 2 level 6 elixir pills. Those were 2 level 6 elixir pills, which were extremely effective in advancing toward half-step to Dan realm. Besides, they could refine their elixir pills 10 times for free. This reward also brightened up the eyes of all forces. No one in the entire underworld could compare with Medical Saint Sect in their art of refining elixir. Those ancestral sects had to pay a huge price to get Medical Saint Sect to help in refining elixir pills. Now they offered to refine 10 times for free. If someone managed to come up with spiritual grass to refine level 6 elixir pills, they would also do it for free. Regardless of getting level 6 elixir pills or refining elixir pills for free, it was a great temptation to any forces. All the ancestral sects hesitated before they sent the message to those disciples at Huashan. It would be best if they could complete the mission. All the disciples from various ancestral sects below the arena had received the message. All of them revealed a tinge of shock with radiance flickering in their eyes. "Second uncle, shall we?" Xiao Fuzi looked towards several elders beside him and asked with gleaming eyes. Those people around Miracle Dr. Wang are quite strong. Besides, a lot of people are aware of this news. It's a surprise that Medical Saint Sect is so desperate to pay such a price for him to be killed. He's only courting his own doom since he dared to kill people from sacred sects. Xiao Fuzi remarked with a cold look. Find a chance to strike. Hey brother. Here's the message from the ancestral sect. Should we do it? Between Saint Qi and Saint Wen, a young man asked his elder brother at the side. What do you think? They want us to strike when there's an opportunity. Let's see how many people do it. If there's a chance, I think we can give it a shot. If we aren't 100% sure, don't do it. I've always felt that he's not a simple person. Yinshan, here's the message from the ancestral sect. 2 level 6 elixir pills and refining elixir pills 10 times for free. I think we can do it too. Back at the Heavenly Sound sect, an elder suggested to Tang Yinshan with fervent eyes. No, we can't. When Tang Yinshan saw the message sent by their sect leader, she shook her head firmly. Her? The sect leader hoped that we could kill him off because the reward from Medical Saint Sect is simply too attractive. Didn't you say both of you were just acquaintances? The elder from Heavenly Sound Sect asked with a frown. Elder Yang, I have decided not to take part in this. He's very mighty and it's far beyond your imagination. Tang Yinshen spoke firmly with a stern look. How mighty can he be? We have foreign-born experts here. I bet the rest of the people received the same message. By then we are not the only ones who strike. Participations will also be rewarded handsomely. Elder Yang raised his eyebrow and rebuked. Elder Yang, I know him. His strength? Tang Yinshen hesitated. Not even our supreme elder of Heavenly Sound Sect can take him down. What? Elder Yang froze as he looked at Tang Yinshen with astonishment. Yinshen, are you kidding? Elder Yang, why would I lie to you? I have seen his prowess. Tang Yinshen answered Elder Yang with a serious look. Upon seeing her serious look, Elder Yang turned solemn with glistening eyes. He murmured, is there such a demon-like existence? In fact, you guys have seen his domineering prowess before. But Tang Yinshen did not say that out loud as she glanced around with a cold smile. She noticed all the disciples and supreme talents of ancestral sects fixing their gleaming gazes on Wang Xian. A tinge of contempt surfaced on her face. They probably had no idea what kind of domineering existence they were facing. Greed marks the original sin and death. Another 5 to 6 first-class forces received the message from Medical Saint Sect, among which 5 supreme talents' eyes were gleaming with greed and excitement. None of them knew that the atmosphere in the Outstanding Young Heroes competition had undergone subtle changes. Young Lord, there's a message from our Lord, asking us to complete a mission. 2 middle-aged men reported to the young Lord of Sea Serpent Island. Oh, let me see. Her? Level 6 elixir pills and free refining elixir pills 10 times. A tinge of queerness blinked in the eyes of young Lord of Sea Serpent Island. Medical Saint Sect lives up to their name. What a cruel man. Thanks to Miracle Dr. Wang. Otherwise, we'll not have this opportunity, a middle-aged man said with a smile. Yes, I have to thank him. Just perfect, I'll kill him in the arena and win the championship title. Killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Young Lord of Sea Serpent Island revealed a smile. The duels are almost coming to an end. Young Lord of Sea Serpent Island observed around with his lips drawn. Miracle Dr. Wang of Rivertown, you're the current number 1 supreme talent on the chart. Get on now so that I can slay you today. Ah. He burst into laughter and jumped into the arena. With his chin lifted, he glared at Wang Xian, beaming. Her? Young Lord of Sea Serpent Island is challenging Wang Xian. The most exciting duel is here. Young Lord of Sea Serpent Island used to be the number 1 on the chart. Now Miracle Dr. Wang of Rivertown suddenly emerged and took over him. We'll find out who is more powerful soon. After their duel, we should be able to tell who is the champion for this year. The surrounding crowd was thrilled when they saw young Lord of Sea Serpent Island issue a challenge to Wang Xian. All of them were looking at the two with great anticipation. Slay me? Upon hearing young Lord of Sea Serpent Island, Wang Xian was slightly suspicious. Young master, here's a message from Xiao Ran. Suddenly, Mo Qinglong passed a phone from behind. Wang Xian took over the phone and squinted his eyes as soon as he read the message. No wonder he wants to slay me. Ah. Upon reading the content, Wang Xian chuckled. The Medical Saint Sect are quick in taking action. I wonder how many of them in the field want to kill me. But since you guys are up for a game, I will definitely play on. Wang Xian laughed as he swept his gaze across everyone. Eventually, he stopped at young Lord of Sea Serpent Island, who was staring at him in the arena. I'm sorry. I'm not participating in the ranking of the Outstanding Young Heroes chart. Chapter 446, Sacred Sect, Dragon Sect 6. Chapter 446, Sacred Sect, Dragon Sect 6. I'm sorry. I'm not participating in the ranking of the Outstanding Young Heroes chart. When the crowd heard Wang Xian, they were taken aback. What's happening? Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown is not participating in the Outstanding Young Heroes chart? What a turn of events. With his strength, why isn't he participating? It is almost certain that Miracle Dr. Wang would rank in the top 3 or 4. With such results, he could get at least 700 to 800 spiritual stones at the end of the competition after considering how popular the Outstanding Young Heroes competition is this year. At this moment, the total bets placed for the competition in the Underworld have reached several hundreds of billions. The top 5 would each receive at least 8 billion. Changing money to spiritual stones would also reap him immense resources. Why isn't he participating? Could it be that he's afraid after seeing so many experts? This isn't his style at all. To the astonishment of the crowd, Wang Xian had declared he wouldn't participate. As a result, the crowd was curious and discussing. The young lord of Sea Serpent Island was also surprised by Wang Xian's decision. He stared coldly at Wang Xian and asked, "What's the matter? Are you afraid? This isn't your style at all." Wang Xian smiled plainly and replied, "Hee hee. Do I need a reason to not participate? Naturally, you can think whatever you wish." "Ah, great. Regardless, the opportunity for us to fight will be here soon. Rest assured it won't be long," the young lord of Sea Serpent Island said with hidden meaning behind his words. Subsequently, he looked to the rest of the crowd. Ka. Suddenly, a layer of frost formed over the surface of the arena. The surrounding temperature was also decreasing rapidly. A stream of chilling aura emanated from the young lord of Sea Serpent Island. As he moved his hand, a short blade appeared in it. The short blade was white as snow and was emitting layers and layers of white fog. This wasn't hot air but chilling air. At his chest, a frosty round disc appeared gradually. It started turning and his body started turning white. "I'm the champion of all promising young talents. Who isn't convinced?" Chilling cold aura swept towards the surroundings. Some of the young men instantly paled. "You or that monk are both qualified to fight with me." The lips of the young lord of Sea Serpent Island curved into a smirk as he emitted chilling aura. "Ba, you are really the son of the lord of Sea Serpent Island. With such an incredible father, the son couldn't be any weaker." The flower monk stared at the young lord of Sea Serpent Island, the short blade in his hand and the round disc at his chest. In his eyes, a tinge of fear flashed. The ominous-looking young man stared at the young lord of Sea Serpent Island. In the end, he shook his head and said, "If you took down the frosty round disc on your chest, you wouldn't be a match for me. Just shut your mouth if you don't dare to step forward." The young Sea Serpent Island master stared calmly at the ominous-looking young man and continued, "Be careful or you won't walk out of here alive if you are spouting too much nonsense." The ominous-looking young man frowned and snorted, "You can be first this time. I'll be second. Lingsha, are you convinced?" Ba. Since young palace master Fu likes to be second, the poor monk here shall be third then." Flower monk smiled gently and answered plainly while moving the string of Buddha beads with his finger. "I shall be fourth then. Anyone not convinced?" After the top 3 of the Outstanding Young Heroes chart had been decided, one of the saints from the Dark Sect looked nonchalantly at the crowd. In one of his hands he was playing with a dagger. "I shall be fifth. Anyone not convinced?" Xiao Ran took a step forward and looked at the crowd. The aura from the young lord of Sea Serpent Island is too terrifying. Even the flower monk and the ominous-looking young man admitted that they wouldn't be a match for him. He's definitely deserving of the title of the champion of the supreme talents. It is clear that the ominous-looking young man knows Flower Monk. There's no problem at all with them ranking second and third. The leader of the duo from the Dark Sect has insane mastery of the flying dagger. Ranking fourth is also not a problem. Although Xiao Ran from Xiao Clan is young, he possesses a heavenly flame and inborn spiritual weapon. Moreover, no one would probably have doubts about him ranking fifth after seeing his battling strength. The crowd started commenting after seeing the supreme talents stepping forward and claiming their spots on the chart. "I shall be sixth. Anyone not convinced?" The number 2 on the Outstanding Young Heroes chart from some time ago stepped forward with a long face and announced this to the crowd. "I'll be seventh. Anyone not convinced?" "I'll be eighth. Anyone not convinced?" "I'll be ninth. Anyone not convinced?" Emotionless calls reverberated across the field and the inborn level supreme talents jumped into the arena after claiming their spots. This happened until the 18th spot. 18 inborn realm supreme talents stood in the arena, emitting terrifying aura. Anyone not convinced? The young lord of Sea Serpent Island looked at the inborn supreme talents around him. He lifted his head proudly and asked loudly again, I shall be the champion of the supreme talents. Anyone not convinced? The disposition of a champion emanated from his body. The remaining inborn supreme talents pulled a long face and lifted their heads slightly. Regardless, being ranked on the Outstanding Young Heroes chart this year was also a testament to their strength. Great. Since no one has anything to say. The young lord of Sea Serpent Island squinted his eyes and looked in the direction of Wang Xian. His eyes were beaming with killing intent. In the arena, 5 other inborn level supreme talents looked towards Wang Xian. Now that the Outstanding Young Heroes competition had ended, they knew that it was time for them to make a move. Below the stage, some sects and families were also eager to strike. They could also tell that the young lord of Sea Serpent Island had accepted the mission from the Medical Saint Sect. However, this didn't mean that the rewards would belong to them. Whoever could kill Miracle Dr. Wang from River Town would receive the greatest remuneration. The ranking of the Outstanding Young Heroes chart is over. Get ready. Tiske. This Miracle Dr. Wang from River Town is really arrogant to kill the people from the Medical Saint Sect on the spot. Now that Medical Saint Sect is willing to offer such an insane remuneration, many experts from various sects will be eager to strike. Even Saint-class forces won't be an exception. Below the stage, the families and sects who had received the message were exhilarated. The best show after the Outstanding Young Heroes chart ranking was finally about to begin. At this very moment, many people were looking at the ranking through the Underworld website. Why didn't Miracle Dr. Wang from River Town participate? I bet 5 million on him. The young lord of Sea Serpent Island has declared himself as the champion. The short sword and the round disc on him should both be insanely powerful inborn spiritual weapons. The only disappointment is Miracle Dr. Wang from River Town not participating. Is Miracle Dr. Wang from River Town afraid of embarrassing himself after seeing multiple powerful characters on the Outstanding Young Heroes chart this year? He's probably pondering how he could handle his own matters at this point in time. He's a dead man after killing the most outstanding disciple of Medical Saint Sect in this generation. Miracle Dr. Wang from River Town dared to kill the people from Medical Saint Sect. Why wouldn't he participate? The 10 million I placed on him was forfeited directly. The Outstanding Young Heroes competition has finally ended. Although there wasn't a fight at the end, the competition this year was truly satisfying. The Supreme Talents must have a rough idea of their strength and therefore didn't express opinions against those who were stronger than them. Because of this, they didn't fight at the end. The only disappointment has to be Miracle Dr. Wang from River Town. In the end, he chose to be a coward. The Underworld was discussing fervently on the web. As to the fact that Wang Xian didn't participate, many people were shocked and infuriated. It was especially so for those who had placed bets on Wang Xian earlier. They even hurled vulgarities at him. If you want to be a coward at the very end, what the hell are you in Huashan for? You might as well just cower in the corner at home. You still dare to kill the people from Medical Saint Sect without knowing what's best for you. Some people were cursing. However, there were others from some families and sects that were watching the live stream. They were waiting for the end of the competition and the death of Miracle Dr. Wang. Today I want to see his corpse. The members of the Medical Saint Sect stared emotionlessly at the live stream. We are not convinced. Suddenly, just as the crowd was about to make their move, a unison cold snort reverberated across the space. Chapter 447 Sacred Sect, Dragon Sect, 7. Chapter 447, Sacred Sect, Dragon Sect, 7. We are not convinced. While all 18 supreme talents were overlooking the crowd from the quiet arena, a sneer came and took everyone by surprise. Oh, who is not convinced? Everyone was stunned as they spun around. All the 18 people on the stage froze as they turned to the source of the voice. 5 young men were staring at the group of people on the stage with cold eyes. Her? Who are they? Who are these 5 people? All of the people were puzzled as they gave way to form a path for them. We're not convinced either. Yet another voice came at this time. More people? Why are they here? Gosh, those people on stage are the supreme talents of inborn levels. Who else is not convinced? Once again, the crowd was stunned as they looked in the other direction. 7 young men. They stared at the supreme talents on the stage with a domineering fighting spirit. 12 of them. A supreme talent on stage squinted his eyes as he watched the 12 people stalking towards the stage. Radiance flicked in his eyes. He us too. Boom. Damn, there are more. If I guessed correctly, those 5 people are outstanding 5 devil dragons. The other 7 are dragon 7 stars. They just made their names known to the underworld a few days ago. Little did I expect they would turn up. Who are the other 4 who spoke? 16? Suddenly, 16 people sprouted up? If they're not convinced, could they be experts from the inborn realm? Fuck, I thought the ranking was almost over. Who knew there are another 16 inborn experts? Scary. Where did these people come from? There is no information about them. Which clan did they come from? Which sects? All of them watched the group of young men below the arena with stunned looks. Her? When the group of supreme talents on the stage looked at 16 young men who exploded immense fighting spirit, their expressions were stern. Haha, I'm not convinced. I long you. You are not fit to be the champion yet. Let me challenge you. Xiao Yu cast a glance at the group of Dragonians. She was eager to get on the stage when she fixed her eyes on the young lord of Sea Serpent Island. With her bone sword, she leaped onto the arena. Her? Challenging the young lord of Sea Serpent Island? Miracle Dr. Wang's sister is simply digging her own grave. She's challenging the young lord? That sister of Miracle Dr. Wang is too insolent. The crowd was stunned when they saw Xiao Yu jumping into the arena just to challenge the young lord of Sea Serpent Island. All of them looked at Xiao Yu as though she was some idiot. That young lady was an inborn expert indeed. But she was still a far cry from the young lord. Haha, challenge me? The young lord was frowning when he saw the sudden appearance of 16 young men up for the challenge. He darkened his expression instantly when he saw Xiao Yu charging at him. How dare a lass like you challenge my superiority? The young lord fixed his cold stare on Xiao Yu. The inborn spiritual weapon, Frozen Sorrows, was held in his hand and was pointing at Xiao Yu. Are you tired of living? Haha. With her bone sword in her hand and a black armor-like outfit, she said, You are not fit to be the champion of the supreme talents. Well, fine. The young lord revealed a ghastly look. Since you dared to challenge me, prepare for your death. Xiao Yu raised her eyebrows as she drew her bone sword to the side. With a quick move, she went for her attack. Take this. Go on. Challenge him. The winner will be the champion of the rankings. The people on the stage can get down. With Xiao Yu launching her attack, there was no hesitation from the Dragonians below the stage. With a swift movement, all of them charged to the supreme talents on the stage. Courting your own doom. A murderous intent flashed in his eyes when the ominous-looking young man spotted someone assaulting him. On the side, Flower Monk held his bloody Buddha beads on his neck and exhibited coldness in his eyes. Boom boom. Combat exploded instantly in the arena. Everyone was dumbfounded by the scene as they parted their lips. Miracle Dr. Wang's sister is actually attacking the young lord. This is madness. Those 16 people who sprouted out of nowhere are insane. They actually challenged those supreme talents on the stage. Someone is fighting with the ominous-looking young man and Flower Monk. Where did they come from? They are not wearing uniforms, so they should not be from the same force. I've heard of the outstanding 5 devil dragons and dragon 7 stars. But who are the other 4 young ones? Where did they come from? Crazy. The outstanding young heroes chart ranking this year is simply too insane. All the people surrounding the arena receded immediately. The entire situation was insane, with the sudden appearance of a dozen inborn experts challenging all the supreme talents. This was combat that involved more than 30 inborn experts. All the remaining people could only retreat. At the same time, all the people who were watching the match through the Underworld website were dumbfounded too. The entire situation was too overwhelming. Those who were not here at the scene would regret it for life. Many martial artists almost fell to their knees as they watched the broadcast. There are just too many young experts. Seeing all the Dragonians leaping onto the stage, Xiao Ran was the only one without a rival. Hence he jumped down with a smile. Bam. What? With the sound of the clattering weapons, the sword in Xiao Yu's hand and the frozen sorrows of young Lord of Sea Serpent Island finally clashed together. Young Lord of Sea Serpent Island had a huge change in his expression as he sensed the immense energy coming from it. The Frozen Sorrows was a special inborn spiritual weapon given to him by his father. It was incredibly strong, but it was only on par with the opponent's black bone sword. Humph, how dare you call yourself the champion of the supreme talents? You're not fit. The black bone-like armor on Xiao Yu exuded faint bouts of black aura. As a skeletal dragon, all her battles were close range. Her strength, the penetration, and the defense of the bones had reached a horrifying stage. As a half-step to Dan realm, Xiao Yu could easily defeat the young lord of Sea Serpent Island despite the fact that he had a powerful weapon. But Xiao Yu's entire body was a daunting weapon itself. Last go to hell? Young lord of Sea Serpent Island had a change in his expression when he heard what she said. With a frosty pair of eyes, he looked at her while the ice core round disc began to spin at his chest. The ground around him began to freeze. The surrounding temperature dropped to -100 degrees. Her? All the Dragonians and Supreme Talents who were engaged in the duels had a change in their expressions as they hurriedly drew themselves away. The duels quickly kicked off. Bam. Back to the ominous-looking young man, his grayish umbrella tip was pointing at one Dragonian with a disdainful look in his eyes. Umph. That Dragonian snorted as he stretched out his palm. The human palm was immediately filled with dragon scales. He caught the tip of the umbrella and revealed a cold smile. You're not my match. Concede your defeat. Courting your own doom. The ominous-looking young man turned cold with a ferocious expression surfacing on his face. A bout of grayish mist surged from his gray umbrella. Chapter 448 Sacred Sect, Dragon Sect, 8. Chapter 448, Sacred Sect, Dragon Sect, 8. The grayish mist from the tip of the umbrella had decadent vibes. They had originated from the decadent powers. An attack that was from one's bloodline. The grayish decadent energy could substantially negate the opponent's defense. When the Dragonian noticed the energy, contempt beamed in his eyes. A stream of black aura was emitted from his hand and the dense black mist withstood the grayish decadent energy. Bloodline? Hehe. Dragonians had the strongest bloodline in the universe. The corpse-like bloodline wouldn't be a match at all. What? The ominous-looking young man was astonished. Even when facing the young lord of Sea Serpent Island, he was calm and composed. However, he was truly shocked by the young man who emitted black energy. Fear flashed in his eyes. Burst? Burst. At this juncture, an angry roar resounded. The flower monk's expression was filled with bloodlust. At the top of his head where there was a scar, a hideous image of an evil ghost could be vaguely seen. His pale white face was covered in blood and he looked exceptionally terrifying. A Buddha bead flew towards the Dragonian before him and exploded violently. Creepy fresh blood was released from the exploded Buddha beads and flew towards the Dragonian like maggots which clung to corpses. Ominous spirits infiltration. The Dragonian wasn't alarmed at all as he charged forward. The bloodthirsty aura penetrated into the body of the Dragonian. However, the noble bloodline of the divine dragon was instantly triggered. 1. The bloodthirsty aura was erased instantly. Shit. The flower monk, whose face was immersed in bloodthirsty aura, was astonished. I admit defeat. I admit defeat. I admit defeat. I admit defeat. At this moment, several people admitted defeat. When the crowd around the arena looked to the stage, they were in awe. The 16 inborn experts that had just appeared were all exceptionally powerful. With their immense physical body strength, they had forced these supreme talents to admit defeat. The supreme talents that were previously standing on the arena with poise were now easily defeated. This type of attack. Tang Yinshen played her haozhong. Each musical note and stream of water flow restricted the attacks of the Dragonian before her. However, her expression was turning more and more solemn. She was very familiar with this type of attack. Her vision shifted to below the stage and she saw that young man smiling faintly. At this point she couldn't help but be surprised. 1. As she waved her fingers, all the musical notes disappeared. Tang Yinshen clasped her right fist with her left palm, facing the Dragonian in front of her before jumping down from the arena. How can this be possible? Those young men that have appeared suddenly are too strong and terrifying. Overwhelming. They were completely overwhelming. This group of people is too powerful. When the crowd looked across and saw one after another supreme talent admitting defeat, they were astonished. Look. The young lord of Sea Serpent Island, Flower Monk and the ominous-looking young man are all being overwhelmed. At this moment, a teenager couldn't help but exclaim. His eyes were wide open as he stared at the developments with disbelief. What? How can this be possible? Complete domination. How can they be completely dominated? Putting Flower Monk and the ominous-looking young man aside, why would even the young Lord of Sea Serpent Island be overwhelmed? The sister of Miracle Dr. Wang is so strong. Every time they clash, the young Lord of Sea Serpent Island is knocked back several steps. The thick layer of ice has no effect on her at all. The crowd was shocked to witness this. What incredible strength and tough weapon. How can this be possible? If she wasn't lacking in battle experience. The young Lord of Sea Serpent Island looked extremely hideous. He gritted his teeth and the ice-core round disc at his chest started spinning. A stream of chilling energy was transmitted to the frozen sorrows in his hands. Swish! The cold aura almost froze the air. Carrying chilling aura that could even freeze the earth, the young Lord of Sea Serpent Island swung out his frozen sorrows. How can this be possible? As the chilling aura swept across Xiaoyu, cracks appeared on the tough arena structure and the air became stale. However, she wasn't affected at all. It was as though the chilling aura didn't deal any damage to her at all. Could it be the armor she's wearing? The young Lord of Sea Serpent Island pulled a long face and his eyelids were twitching violently. His eyes were fixed on Xiaoyu's bone sword and the black armor she was wearing. Puff! He took a deep breath and the ice-core round disc at his chest started to spin once again. Crack, crack, crack. A layer of ice was gradually extended over his entire body. From his arms to his legs and eventually his head. In the next instant, the young Lord of Sea Serpent Island had turned into a statue of ice. The frozen sorrows in his hand seemed to have merged with his palm. The ice-cold seal had turned his body into a weapon. How insane. I can feel a deathly chill even when I'm so far away. The current young Lord of Sea Serpent Island is probably peerless among the pinnacle inborn experts. That's too insane. The ominous-looking young man and the Flower Monk have also undergone huge transformations. Below the stage, the crowd exclaimed in shock. The viewers over the Underworld website were also entirely attracted. Their eyes were opened wide as they stared at their screens, afraid of missing out on anything. What they were seeing was too shocking. I can't believe you have pushed me to this extent. The ominous-looking young man started turning white. His skin had lost its glow and was emitting decadent vibes. The current ominous-looking young man was just like a 10,000-year-old corpse. Deathly silent, decadent and creepily horrifying. As for the Flower Monk, a stream of blood tears flowed to his chin. The hideous ghost on the scar at the top of his head stood up and emitted terrifying perversity. Bloody red mist was being ejected from all parts of his body, making him look incomparably bloody. The ominous-looking young man looked coldly towards the Flower Monk. From the vengeance he was emitting, no one knew how many people he had killed previously. The two Dragonians smiled faintly and dense dark aura emitted from their bodies. At the same time, their arms were undergoing a tremendous transformation. Their palms grew over 3 to 4 times their initial size and turned into the claws of a beast. Interesting. A clash of bloodlines. The two Dragonians pursed their lips as they grabbed forward with their dragon claws. This was the Dragonians in their human form. With their current strength they could dragonify their claws. After dragonification, their palms would resemble the claws of the dragon and would be incomparably sharp. As they grabbed forward, it felt as though they could rip the space apart. Bloodline. They are bloodline martial artists. There are extremely few bloodline cultivators. However, they are common in Euramerica. They can even turn into beasts to launch their attacks. Why do that ominous-looking young man and Flower Monk feel so evil? Could it be? Some elders who had accompanied the disciples of their families and sects seemed to have recalled something. They became serious and some even felt fear creeping up on them. What a high-level bloodline. What kind of bloodlines are those? Feeling the energies from the dragon claws, the ominous-looking young man and Flower Monk shivered. They gritted their teeth and launched their decadent energies and bloodthirsty aura towards the dragon claws. Just admit your defeat. 2 chilling calls resounded as the two Dragonians grabbed towards the body of the ominous-looking young man and the Flower Monk respectively. Chapter 449, Sacred Sect, Dragon Sect, 9. Chapter 449, Sacred Sect, Dragon Sect, 9. Get decadent. Into blood. The ominous-looking young man and the flower monk gave a loud and malevolent cry before they charged towards that dragon claws with grayish decadence and bloodthirsty energies. Claws of the devil dragon. The two dragonians bellowed coldly, raking their half-meter dragon claws forward. Ka-ka-ka. A shattering sound came with a huge change in the expressions of the ominous-looking young man and flower monk. With horror they watched as the daunting claws broke through their defense, ripping their bodies. Gasp. Their eyes were full of trepidation as they blocked with their hands in front of them. The terrifying claws with dragon scales stifled them. Fear of death loomed over them. Do you concede defeat? The two dragonians fixed their cold eyes on them as they uttered their question. We lost. We lost. The two of them trembled with fear as they stared at the two dragonians. Bloodline oppression. As bloodline martial artists, the scariest thing was to meet same-level opponents with a more prestigious bloodline. That would cause great oppression on them. Besides, higher-grade bloodlines would be much more dominating than the lower grades. The two dragonians withdrew their dragon claws and threw them a faint smile. Both the flower monk and the ominous-looking young man grimaced, but they could only take a deep breath and bow before making their exits. This was a recognition of the dragonians' strength. The dragonians neither kill any innocent nor push anyone to the end. That ominous-looking young man and flower monk were defeated. Defeated, they are defeated. The rest of the supreme talents were all defeated. Gosh, these dozen people just won against all the previous supreme talents. Horrifying. Outstanding 5 devil dragons. No doubt they are the outstanding 5 devil dragons. These outstanding 5 devil dragons must be from a secluded family. Could it be the previous diabolism? The others were also very powerful. Somehow they do not seem to have revealed their full power yet. Seeing that even the ominous-looking young man and flower monk were defeated, horror filled the eyes of the surrounding crowd at the arena. Those supreme talents who were questioning whether anyone was not convinced were all defeated in the arena. The ranking was completely overturned. They were unable to react in time in the various combats today. As they looked at the young men who sprouted out in the arena, tinges of awe flashed in their eyes. Second uncle, where are they from? How is it that they are so mighty? Xiao Fuzi swept his gaze across the group of young men with darkening expression below the arena. I'm not sure. But I know that ominous-looking young man and the flower monk definitely come from diabolism. The middle-aged man beside him shook his head with eyes looking grave. Diabolism? Could those young men come from diabolism too? Those two men could turn their hands into some beast's claws. I'm sure they are not simple, said Xiao Fuzi with a stern-looking face. When he was fighting with one of the young men in the arena, he'd already sensed the frightening strength and his combat experience was far from his own. There are too many changes to this outstanding young hero's chart this time, said the middle-aged man with flickering eyes. Something big is going to happen in the underworld. Given my strength, I can't even be ranked in the outstanding young hero's chart. Xiao Fuzi gritted his teeth. We need to investigate where these young men came from. But now, all the more we need to kill that miracle Dr. Wang. The remuneration from Medical Saint Sect could greatly enhance the strength of Qiao clan. Kill? Bam. Just then a sudden crashing sound came from the arena. When the crowd looked over again, it was incredible combat that they saw. Why are they giving it all their might? All of them were shocked when they saw the frozen sorrows of the young lord stabbing at the sister of miracle Dr. Wang's chest. Using his experience, he got his opponent to stab into his shoulder. As he battled, this was the only choice that the young lord could make. To exchange a strike with a strike. Trying to break my defense. Upon seeing the frozen sorrows sticking on her chest, Xiaoyu revealed a smile. From the smile on her face, anyone could tell that she was not in pain, and nothing had happened to her. SSS this. The young lord gasped with a twisted expression on his face. In disbelief, he stared at the dagger in his hand, which could not break the defense of his opponent. Sensing the immense pain from his shoulder, the young lord could not take it lying down. He turned out to be unmatched with her. He was no match for that lass. No. The young lord took his exit hurriedly out of the arena. Her? Are you throwing in the towel? Do you have cold feet? Xiaoyu was astounded when she saw young lord flitting out of the arena. She pointed her bone sword at him. The young lord was unusually embarrassed. The ice layer on his head disappeared as he glared at Xiaoyu with a frosty look. The hand holding the frozen sorrows was trembling. Darn you, he murmured as his eyes filled with murderous intent. The young lord has exited the arena. Is he admitting his defeat? I guess so. Dark horse. This girl is the biggest dark horse this round. She actually defeated the young lord of Sea Serpent Island. Everyone fixed their astonished gazes on the young lord of Sea Serpent Island. Haha, now it looks like I'm the champion of the supreme talents. Xiao Yu looked at the young lord with her chin slightly lifted. Are you thinking of challenging my elder brother? You're not fit yet. You're not fit to be a champion of the supreme talents either. I'm the champion. Xiao Yu was elated as she overlooked everyone around her. She was holding her chin up, looking proud. You. Upon seeing the complacent Xiao Yu, killing intent filled the eyes of young lord of Sea Serpent Island. All of you shall die. Die. Bam. As soon as he finished his sentence, two middle-aged men emerged by his side in a split second. What? What is the young lord of Sea Serpent Island trying to do? What does he want to do? Seeing the abrupt appearance of the two middle-aged men, the surrounding crowd was taken aback. Miracle Dr. Wang, you and your men shall perish here. The young lord of Sea Serpent Island glowered coldly at Wang Xian and Xiao Yu with a bloodthirsty look. His words stunned everyone once again. Gentlemen, do it now. Whoever kills him shall take the remuneration, said the young lord of Sea Serpent Island as he ignored the astounding looks when he swept his gaze across the surrounding crowd. His words stupefied many people while some of them were looking confused. Fine, we'll take the killing order of the Medical Saint Sect. Haha, let's make this clear in advance. Everyone can kill Miracle Dr. Wang and the people beside him, but we shall not hurt our friendship and compete with each other. The Wu family will take his life. Gentlemen will go by meritocracy. As soon as young lord of Sea Serpent Island spoke, some of the families and experts hesitated before they stepped forward. There were Sacred Clan, Qiao Clan, the renowned Wu family in Eastern Province, and some of the first-class forces. Among which, 5 supreme inborn talents who had participated in the ranking of Outstanding Young Heroes chart also walked out with their families. 8 sacred clans, a supreme first-class force actually stepped forward. 8 forces and 27 inborn experts in total. They laughed and chatted with each other as they stared at Wang Xian and the people beside him like their prey. Brother, are we going to take part too? Asked a young man hesitantly to Saint Qi and Saint Wen when he saw more than a score of inborn experts were about to strike. No, I have a bad feeling about this. Another young man peered at the group of daunting young men who had been forgotten on the stage as a premonition surged. Yinshen, are we really not going to do it? Elder Yang, who was tempted to move, asked Tang Yinshen once again. Elder Yang. Tang Yinshen was looking grave. Just you wait and see someone die. What is going on? What exactly is happening here? Why are they suddenly attacking Miracle Dr. Wang? The killing order of Medical Saint Sect. Could it be such that some forces strike? Most likely. This is the only possibility now. Everyone was astounded to see 8 powerful forces, which consisted of 1 sacred clan and 7 supreme first-class forces. On top of that, the son of the second strongest in the Underworld took part too. Miracle Dr. Wang is completely finished this time. It'll be difficult for him to escape. Little did I expect he would perish here. Humph, perhaps he did not expect revenge to come this soon after killing a Medical Saint Sect's disciple. He's going to get killed now. Any forces wish to take part now? If there is, please step out now. If you sneak and attack later, I'll not take it lying down. Young Lord of Sea Serpent Island warned as he swept his gaze around upon seeing some of the forces walking out. That's right. If anyone wants to take part in the killing order of Medical Saint Sect, step out now. Anyone who tries to take advantage later will be deemed as having gone against Qiao Clan. Qiao Fuzi also cast his gaze around. Xiao Clan, Medical Saint Sect, the inborn disciple, and the golden spiritual bird from Imperial Beast Sect did not make any moves. Fine, if that's the case, we'll do the killing. Young Lord of Sea Serpent Island widened his mouth as he stared with a ghastly look at Wang Xian. The remaining 8 forces also threw their cold gazes at the prey that they were going to hunt down. Haha, well. Medical Saint Sect's killing order. Wang Xian looked at the group with a slight quirk at the corner of his lips. 30 inborn experts. 30 inborn experts want my life. He gazed at the young lord of Sea Serpent Island, Qiao Clan and the rest. With a faint smile on his face he said, "Let me make an announcement before you guys strike. I'll give the dying man 10 more seconds to live." A middle-aged man from Qiao Clan slowly pulled out his sword. "I hereby announce to the Underworld." Wang Xian swept his gaze across the surrounding crowd. With a soft yell he said, "I, Wang Xian, establish Dragon Sect, a sacred sect. Where are the disciples of Dragon Sect? Where are the disciples of Dragon Sect?" An announcement came as a surprise to everyone, including the 8 forces. Boom boom. A bout of terrifying aura broke out from the arena and the surrounding spots. The sky turned dark as an immense bout of demonic aura darted into the air. "Disciples of the Dragon Sect hereby greet the Dragon King. Disciples of the Dragon Sect hereby greet the Dragon King." All the Dragonians from the arena made their moves and appeared before Wang Xian with one knee on the floor. More than dozens of figures showed up before Wang Xian, half kneeling behind him. "Greetings to the Dragon King." Chapter 450 Dragon Sects Killing Order, 1. Chapter 450, Dragon Sects Killing Order, 1. Greetings, Dragon King. Strong aura shot through the skies and ominous clouds tumbled. The terrifying aura of each Dragonian rose from their bodies into the sky and formed an insane devil dragon circling and rumbling. It was as though they were announcing to the world that the Dragon Sect had descended onto the world. Dragon in the sky. Shocking, frightening and unbelievable. The surrounding crowd was dumbfounded and their bodies shivered violently as they stared at the Dragonians with terrifying auras. 50 Dragonians and 50 powerful inborn experts. All of them were kneeling before that young man, Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown. An invincible vibe filled every corner of the arena of the Outstanding Young Heroes competition. Those dozen-plus young men are all the subordinates of Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown. Their auras are insanely powerful. 50 inborn experts. We are talking about 50 inborn experts. The surrounding crowd was greatly shaken. They stared with disbelief at the 50 Dragonians who were kneeling on the floor and were clearly panic-stricken. 50 inborn experts and a dozen or so of them have defeated all the supreme talents. Over 10 supreme talents were overwhelmed. The outstanding 5 devil dragons and the 7 dragon stars are all subordinates of Miracle Dr. Wang. Their strength could even be considered to be amongst the upper echelons of inborn experts. This is simply frightening. Everyone's eyes opened wide as they mumbled. At this very moment, the young lord of Sea Serpent Island and the group from the Qiao clan stared at the 50 inborn experts kneeling before Wang Xian in disbelief. This cannot be possible. This cannot be possible. The young lord of Sea Serpent Island, Qiao Fuzi, and the rest were a little out of sorts. There were 50 inborn experts and these experts had just defeated them a while ago. All of them were the subordinates of Miracle Dr. Wang. And now, Miracle Doctor had announced the establishment of his sacred sect. Sacred sect. He just established a sacred sect. Moreover, it's an incomparably strong sacred sect. They swallowed their saliva and their eyes were filled with fear. At this moment, with just 30 inborn experts on their side, they were going to go against a sacred sect. A sacred sect that had 50 inborn experts. The Dragon Sect will be established today. First, I'm going to announce that those who offend our Dragon Sect shall die. Dragon Sect Killing Order. Annihilate all who are going against us. After which, annihilate their families including the sacred clans and sects. Wang Xian looked at the 50 Dragonians that were kneeling before him. He lifted his head and turned to the young lord of Sea Serpent Island and the group of experts from the Qiao clan. Gradually he revealed an eerie smirk. Now that I have said what I wanted, you guys can come and kill me now. Wang Xian's lips curved into a smile and he looked at them with contempt. Those who offend our Dragon Sect shall die. Those who offend our Dragon King shall die. The 50 Dragonians shouted loudly in unison. Emo Qinglong stood up and the crowd of Dragonians behind him followed. Their eyes were fixed on the young lord of Sea Serpent Island and the group behind him. Follow me to kill our enemies. Kill? Emo Qinglong instructed with killing intent, and the crowd of Dragonians responded. Rumble. Instantly, devilish aura blocked out the entire sky and the devil dragon roared loudly. Without a moment of hesitation, Emo Qinglong and the group of Dragonians charged towards the enemies. No, we are backing out. We are backing out. It was Medical Saint Sect who issued the Medical Saint Sect's killing order. It has nothing to do with us. Our Wu family is backing out. We are backing out. When the 8 forces saw the group of Dragonians charging towards them, they were filled with horror. Those were 50 inborn experts. Moreover, they were all existences that could match pinnacle inborn experts. Even though they had 30 inborn experts, they wouldn't be a match at all. Completely and thoroughly overwhelming. It was especially so for the inborn supreme talents that had fought with the Dragonians previously. They knew clearly how terrifying these Dragonians could be. While fighting in the arenas, they clearly understood that they were a far cry from them. Now that the Dragonians were going for their lives with the intent, they would undoubtedly be slaughtered. The people from the 8 forces were flabbergasted and overwhelmed with fear. Even the group of 4 from the Chao clan were horrified. Miracle Dr. Wang from River Town, our Chao clan is backing out. Since you have established a sacred sect, our Chao clan wouldn't be willing to make you our enemy. A middle-aged man from the Chao clan shouted immediately. Spare no one, said Wang Xian coldly. My father is the second strongest man in the underworld. Miracle Dr. Wang from River Town, are you sure you dare to kill me? When the young lord of Sea Serpent Island saw the group of Dragonians with terrifying vibes, he also felt fear. Just a while ago, 2 of these Dragonians had defeated the 2 supreme talents from Devil Corpse Palace and Devil Spirit's Temple. The strength of those 2 was just a notch weaker than him. Yet, there were even stronger existences within this group. None of you are getting away after offending our Dragon King. Mo Qinglong responded to the young lord of Sea Serpent Island with killing intent. SSS. The surrounding crowd was shocked and cold sweat broke out on their foreheads. Once again they retreated. He's going to kill the people from the Chao clan and the son of the lord of Sea Serpent Island. Miracle Dr. Wang. He's no longer called Miracle Dr. Wang. We should be addressing him as the Dragon King. To establish a sect at 20 years old and become the leader of a sacred sect, his achievements are unmatched throughout history. The Dragon King would consider one's background when he decides to kill? Just think about the elders of the Sacred Followers Guild and the disciple of Medical Saint Sect. He would definitely not stop for the Lord of Sea Serpent Island or the Chao clan. Didn't the Dragon King say that he's going to annihilate their clans regardless of whether they are from a sacred clan? The sect leader of a sacred sect. A 20-year-old leader of a sacred sect. Moreover, he is the founder of the sect. How terrifying. The crowd was shocked to see the Dragonians charging ahead, brimming with killing intent. All of them could feel cold sweat breaking out on their backs. He didn't care if you were from a sacred clan or if you were the son of the second strongest man. He would just kill you without reservations. Young lord, please escape as quickly as you can. We will hold them here. The 2 middle-aged men who were standing beside the young lord of Sea Serpent Island said in a hurry and with resolve. Uncle Ma, Uncle Bay. The young lord of Sea Serpent Island was astonished and stared at the 2 middle-aged men bitterly. Quick, run. When the 2 middle-aged men saw Mo Yuan and Mo Qinglong attacking them, they were fearful and immediately charged ahead to stop them. All of you will die. Mo Qinglong had a hideous expression on him. As he waved his arm, his palm transformed into an incomparably terrifying devil dragon claw. His palm was over a meter long and was much more terrifying than the 2 Dragonians previously. If you dare to kill the son of our lord will not let you off, the 2 middle-aged screeched loudly. Water flowed rapidly on their bodies and formed various vortexes. Each vortex was 5 meters wide and soon the stones on the ground were lifted. Half-step to Dan Realm. They are half-step to Dan Realm experts. The surrounding crowd was stunned once again. TSK. However, Mo Qinglong and Mo Yuan weren't afraid at all as they charged towards the 2 middle-aged men. It doesn't matter if you are half-step to Dan Realm experts. Both of you will still die today. Arrogant words came from them. The aura that they were emitting was causing the crowd to shiver in fear. That domineering black devilish aura was truly too frightening. It's over, it's over. When Mo Qinglong and Mo Yuan released their auras, the people from the other 8 forces were devastated. As they saw the remaining Dragonians charging towards them, they couldn't help but feel deep regret. Chapter 451 Dragon Sect's Killing Order, 2. Chapter 451, Dragon Sect's Killing Order, 2. Boom. No, don't kill us. We surrender. When the remaining Dragonians charged over, the score of inborn experts from the 8 forces screamed in horror. Some of them even tried to flee with trepidation. They ignored their dignity as a clan and as experts when they tried to flee far away. However, the Dragonians were even faster than them as they flitted over and surrounded them. Kill? One of the Dragonians charged towards Chao clan and those inborn experts with a frosty and daunting demonic aura. It's over. Upon seeing that Dragonian charging at him, fear filled Xiao Fuzi's eyes. That Dragonian was the one who had fought and defeated him within 30 moves in the arena just now. His strength was formidable. Kill? On the brink of life and death, Xiao Fuzi could only bite the bullet and explode all his might for his last fight. Trash. With a disdainful voice, that Dragonian's palms slowly transformed into something horrifying. As Xiao Fuzi witnessed the transformation, he was appalled. He wielded his sword directly at that Dragonian. As the sword slashed at the dragon claws, it was caught by that Dragonian easily. Just you and you think you can kill our Dragon King? I was only playing with you just now in the arena. The Dragonian sneered as he raked his dragon claws across Xiao Fuzi's body. Arg. With a huge change in his expression, Xiao Fuzi darted his sword at him. Arg. A petrifying shriek came from Xiao Fuzi when the dragon claws grabbed and crushed his body straight away. Xiao Fuzi widened his eyes with fear. Arg. At this time he heard cries from the side. He tilted his head with the last trace of his vitality. All he saw was the few elders of Chao clan and the various inborn experts getting killed. Within less than 1 minute, more than 10 inborn experts were struck down. Cough cough. Xiao Fuzi spat out a mouthful of blood as his eyes were big and round, full of remorse. As the most outstanding disciple of a sacred clan and the youngest inborn expert of the Chao clan, his bright future ended here. They are way too compelling. 50 Dragon Sect disciples killed dozens of inborn experts in a split second. Gosh, all of them have strength that is close to pinnacle inborn or are pinnacle inborns themselves. The inborn experts of Dragon Sect are way too domineering. All of them can transform their hands into daunting claws, which can actually resist the attacks of inborn spiritual weapons. Their combat abilities are not those that any average inborn can compare with. All the surrounding people twitched their eyebrows as they watched in fear as the inborn experts perished one by one. The strength possessed by 30 inborn experts was almost equivalent to that of a sacred sect. Yet all of them had been struck down one by one. The inborn experts who were striking awe just now were being massacred. Looking at those Dragonians who were exuding black demonic aura, all the surrounding crowd had awe in their eyes. When they looked at that young man before the Dragonians, all they had was admiration and fear for him. This is a new sacred sect and a terrifying one. They had mighty strength. They are even more compelling than the elder group of our heavenly sound sect. When Elder Yang saw the group of Dragonians kneeling before that young man, he was already taken aback by horror. Seeing those 8 forces who had accepted the killing order from Medical Saint Sect getting massacred by them, his heart quivered. If not for the strong opposition from Tang Yinshen, they could be part of the group now. Given the style of that Dragon Sect master, so what if it was a sacred sect or sacred clan? Offend him and all will die. They are really formidable. Tang Yinshen was astounded by the 50 Dragonians. She knew Wang Xian was strong, but the last thing she could think of was him establishing a sacred sect of his own. A strong ancestral sect that was on par with Heavenly Sound Sect. Those forces and ancestral sects who knew about the mission counted themselves really lucky for not participating in it. Fortunately, they did not do it. Young Lord, run now. Just then, another despairing scream was heard. Everyone hurriedly spun around and saw 2 Dragonians besieging the young Lord of Sea Serpent Island. He had lost his previous dashing aura and chillness now. The person who proudly declared he was the champion of supreme talents in the arena just now had his hair spread out with a long wound on his arm. He looked awful as he fought with 2 disciples of Dragon Sect before him. If the situation persisted, it would take no time for the young Lord of Sea Serpent Island to be killed. Seeing their young lord in danger, the 2 middle-aged men revealed desperate looks. They blocked the blows from Mo Qinglong and Mo Yuan with their maximum effort and struck at the 2 Dragonians before their young lord. The 2 Dragonians had a slight change in their expressions and staggered back immediately. How dare you get distracted while fighting with me? Upon seeing that middle-aged man who got distracted, he snorted. A bout of demonic aura converged into a hideous dragon head that bit him on both his legs. Ah, scram now! That middle-aged man let out a cry as water on his body vibrated violently. With a malevolent look, he bellowed, "Old Bay, help me block this." Got it? Relentlessness filled the face of another middle-aged man's face as he struck Mo Qinglong and Mo Yuan. "I'll fight it out with you guys. Our Lord will take revenge for us." Go to hell. Seeing him charging alone at the duo, Mo Qinglong and Mo Yuan were looking bleak as they stretched out their claws of the devil dragon and raked at him. Arg arg. On the other side, another middle-aged man let out a deafening roar. Immense blue energy flowed out and gushed towards the ice core round disk at the chest of the young lord of Sea Serpent Island. A half-step to Dan Realm injected all of his energy into the ice core round disk. The entire round disk was giving off a blue glow that solidified and surrounded them. Within the blue glow, the young lord of Sea Serpent Island malevolently stared at Wang Xian with rage and hatred in his eyes. "I'll ask my father to kill you." The young lord of Sea Serpent Island let out a miserable cry when the blue ice core round disk enveloped him totally. Subsequently, he darted out into the sky at a terrifying speed. His speed was almost 10 times the speed of sound. Moving as though it was the speed of light, the blue glow flashed and disappeared with the young lord of Sea Serpent Island. On the other hand, the middle-aged half-step to Dan Realm expert lost all the soul in his eyes as he collapsed on the ground. Arg. At this time, the other half-step to Inborn who had blocked Mo Qinglong and Mo Yuan also let out a desperate shriek before he fell onto the ground with a thud. What's that round disc? How was it able to spur such a crazy speed? That was fast. It felt like a teleport. The two half-step to Dan Realm experts beside the young lord of Sea Serpent Island are dead. In order to let the young lord of Sea Serpent Island escape, that half-step to Dan Realm actually sacrificed his life. A half-step to Dan Realm sacrificed his life so that the young lord of Sea Serpent Island could escape through a piece of treasure. This price is simply too heavy to pay. Gosh, the young lord of Sea Serpent Island managed to escape after paying such a price. The rest were unable to run away. 27 Inborns and 2 half-step to Dan Realm perished. The surrounding crowd was aghast in seeing this. The newly established Dragon Sect issued a killing order, causing numerous casualties. Wang Xian was unconcerned about the young lord of Sea Serpent Island making his escape. The enemies from the sea were all trash in his eyes. This was only the birth of the Dragon Sect. When the Dragon Palace emerged, Hayak. Chapter 452 Dragon Sects Killing Order, 3. Chapter 452, Dragon Sects Killing Order, 3. Arg. When the last person from the 8 forces had finally died, the entire competition field for the Outstanding Young Heroes competition went silent. As a cold breeze blew over, everyone could feel the chill down their bones. This type of chill was more penetrative than what they felt from the young lord of Sea Serpent Island. Looking at the corpses around them, they couldn't help but shiver. Among the 8 forces, there were subordinates of the second strongest man in the underworld, people from the Sacred Clan, Qiao Clan, the Wu family and many other first-class forces. Only the young lord of Sea Serpent Island among the 30 Inborn experts had made it out alive after 2 half-step to Dan Realm experts sacrificed themselves to help him escape with the treasure he had. All the rest were killed on the spot. Looking at the 50 Dragonians appearing behind the young man, everyone was truly shocked. Any force that could establish itself as a sacred sect would undoubtedly be a force to be reckoned with over a certain region. From today onwards, that young man would be the same. His name is the Dragon King. The sect leader of the sacred sect, Dragon Sect. No one had any doubts about Dragon Sect becoming a sacred sect and no one would doubt its strength. Just the 50 Inborn experts before them would be more than the Inborn experts many other sacred sects had. When he said he wasn't participating in the Outstanding Young Heroes competition, there were still lots of people mocking him. They accused him of being afraid after seeing the experts and thought he didn't dare to take on the challenge. It would seem now that he definitely has the strength. It is just that he had no regard for those participating at all. Considering he could make so many experts address him as the Dragon King, how strong is he? I believe he is definitely above the Inborn realm. That's 100% certain. His sister alone is able to defeat the young lord of Sea Serpent Island. He wouldn't be any worse. Another unparalleled expert has appeared in the underworld once again. The Dragon King from the Dragon Sect. The crowd thought to themselves. Wang Xian looked across and noticed there were still a lot of camera equipment over the entire competition ground for the Outstanding Young Heroes competition. All these cameras were broadcasting live for the entire underworld over the internet. At this point, he knew that whatever happened here was known by the entire underworld. Medical Saint Sect's killing order? Today, my Dragon Sect shall also issue a killing order to all those forces that fought against us as well as the Medical Saint Sect. We will definitely annihilate all of you in the future. Wang Xian looked towards a camera and said coldly. In 3 days, our Dragon Sect will be hosting a pilgrimage for 2 consecutive days. On the first day, I hope you guys will come and our Dragon Sect will definitely be a good host. Wang Xian's voice resounded and the crowd could hear him clearly. Those who relied on the cameras for the live stream over the Underworld website had also seen it clearly with their eyes. Despite being separated by the screen, they could still see and sense the boundless dominance and killing intent in Wang Xian's words. All of them were greatly shocked. Is Dragon King from the Dragon Sect declaring war against Medical Saint Sect and the Qiao clan? We are talking about 2 Saint-class forces here. He's too domineering and arrogant. After slaughtering everyone from the 8 forces, he announced he would be annihilating all of them. That's too insane. Establishing a sacred sect at the age of 20 and having 50 inborn experts as subordinates. This is too shocking. Every action of Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown has been shocking the entire underworld. And now he's issuing a challenge to the Medical Saint Sect and Qiao clan. Is he a little too brazen to announce he will annihilate all the forces who accepted the killing order from the Medical Saint Sect? Those are 8 forces, among which 1 is even a Saint-class force. If we put the other 7 forces together, they could also be equivalent to a sacred sect. Together with the Medical Saint Sect, that would be the strength of 3 Saint-class forces. Wang Xian's announcement shocked everyone to the core. He made it clear that he wouldn't rest until either his side perished or Medical Saint Sect and Qiao clan perished. That was too terrifying. Nonetheless, everyone was filled with respect and fear towards him. No one dared to make it clear publicly to go against the Medical Saint Sect, the Qiao clan and the other 7 forces. Even other sacred sects wouldn't dare to make 2 other sacred sects their enemies at the same time. Arrogance. He's too arrogant. He is saying he's going to annihilate our Medical Saint Sect. Boom. At this very moment, within the mountain valley of Medical Saint Sect. When the 2 sect leaders of Medical Saint Sect saw Wang Xian's declaration over the video, they were infuriated. While their eyes were glowing with anger, they were also a little shocked. He should be counting himself lucky if we don't pursue him. Yet he's saying he's going to annihilate us. Ah, great. Dragon King of the Dragon Sect. Great. The 2 of them stared furiously at the video. Dense killing intent was leaking out of their bodies. In 3 days, it will be the death anniversary of your Dragon Sect. Inform the Supreme Elders of the Medical Saint Sect. We have reached the point that this incident won't end without a side perishing. We will be mobilizing all our forces. Although that brat possesses unexpected influence, just the Dragon Sect alone isn't enough to shake the foundation of our Medical Saint Sect. Wishful thinking. The 2 sect leaders shouted and looked hideous. The surrounding elders of the Medical Saint Sect were also brimming with killing intent. The words of that young man in the video didn't just constitute provocations. He was declaring that he wouldn't rest until one side perished. And he was making the same statement to 2 sacred sects. A wise elder pondered for a moment before remarking solemnly, "Sect leaders, I believe our best option is to ally with the Qiao clan. The Dragon Sect isn't weak. Moreover, that Dragon King will most likely be above the inborn realm. Inform our supreme elders too. There's nothing to fear about just a Dragon Sect." The other sect leader pulled a long face and shouted. "I'm just thinking of playing it safe. Since he dares to challenge us and the Qiao clan, he should be aware of the strength of the 2 sacred sects. I'm only afraid that he's still hiding his true strength," that elder reminded. The 2 sect leader of the Medical Saint Sect calmed down and replied, "We will get in contact with the Qiao clan. If Dragon Sect was still hiding their strength, they would indeed be horrifying. Damn it. The Dragon Sect is too arrogant and brazen. It's just a newly established sacred sect and yet he dares to be so arrogant." Nanjing. Within a mountain peak, a group had gathered at the Grand Hall and was watching the video on the screen solemnly. The Qiao clan would never have expected the other party to go to this extent after killing 4 of their disciples for simply accepting the killing order of the medical saint sect. It was especially so after learning that the other party possessed such terrifying strength. If the Qiao clan had known that the other party was a sacred clan, they would have never gotten themselves involved in this. Now that they had boarded the ship, they couldn't alight. The other party issued a challenge to them directly and even declared that they would be annihilating them. Domineering and arrogant. In the grand hall of the Qiao clan, everyone was extremely bitter. A sacred sect had declared that they would annihilate them. Moreover, it came from Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown, who had been known to be domineering in his actions. This wouldn't be a joke. No matter how this incident turned out, their Qiao clan would have suffered a huge blow. Even if they achieved victory in the end. Looking at the 50 powerful inborn experts, the Qiao clan was fearful despite being infuriated. The entire Qiao clan didn't even have that many experts. Inform Laozu about this and let him decide, said the clan leader of the Qiao clan helplessly. He was regretting his actions. Because of greed, he had accepted the killing order from the medical saint sect. Now he was forced to go against another sacred sect. Chapter 453, The Seething Underworld. Chapter 453, The Seething Underworld. He's declaring war with one sacred sect and another 7 first-class forces. This is indeed the style of Miracle Dr. Wang of Rivertown. They will be having a pilgrimage 3 days from now. They will receive the enemy on the first day and accept pilgrimage on the second day. What great confidence he has. Dragon King of Dragon Sect. From now on, the entire underworld will be seething with this. The remaining forces marveled at that young man who spoke boldly at the Outstanding Young Heroes competition ground. Even those sacred sects over there felt the tremble in their hearts. They would have to look up to this young man in the future. The founder of the sacred sect, Dragon King. Let's go. Wang Xian scanned everyone with the corner of his lips drawn. He looked at Xiao Yu and the rest beside him with a beaming face. The dragon sect was established and their name was known in the underworld. Next, the sacred sects would begin competing with each other. He wanted the dragon sect to dominate underworld and rise above any sacred sects. The dragon sect will take over the ranking of the supreme talents this year. Mo Qinglong walked behind and cast a glance at the gigantic named cliff with the corner of his lips slightly drawn. He made a move with his huge claws of the devil dragon, raking them across the named cliff. Bam bam bam. The dust from the rocks fell off as Mo Qinglong swung his dragon claws from top to bottom. In another swift movement, he returned to behind Wang Xian again. All of them watched Wang Xian and the gang in silence. None of them dared to utter a word. When they saw Mo Qinglong fly to the named cliff, they looked over. The cold eastern breeze swept in as the 2 powerful words appeared on the named cliff. Dragon Sect. The calligraphy that seemed to be dancing was filled with unlimited mightiness. At the entrance, everyone took the initiative to give way to them as they looked at them in awe. The Outstanding Young Heroes chart this time seemed to be prepared for Dragon Sect. This bunch of young men took over the rankings like a breeze. This is too sick. How on earth did they get their powerful strength at such a young age? I'm afraid bloodshed is brewing in the underworld 3 days from now. Until those groups of figures disappeared, all of them watched silently. The rest of the sacred sects and sacred clans in the field began to stalk out slowly. Amitba, this is a terrifying sacred sect. All of them are young inborn experts, said the flower monk flatly as he fiddled with his bloody beads with a stern look. Interesting. It's great that the underworld gets chaotic. It's time for us, the diabolism they regarded us as, to rise. The ominous-looking young man widened his mouth as he swept his gaze across the surrounding experts of the underworld. With a bloodthirsty look on his face, he said, the bloodshed is going to start again in the underworld. Amitba, I used up half of my beads in the combat just now. It's time to collect some back. A bloodthirsty aura surfaced on the flower monk's face as he looked around. As he put his palms together, he lowered his head slowly. The ominous-looking young man looked at him coldly before he strode to his sedan. Before his sedan, the 4 middle-aged men stood there without moving an inch. Their faces paled as they sensed a faint domineering aura from the half-step to inborn. To strengthen the Devil Corpse Palace, I need more corpses of the experts. The ominous-looking young man looked at the 4 middle-aged men with a vague murderous look. He sat in the sedan and headed out. Wow, the outstanding young heroes chart has been updated. Xiao Yu exclaimed fervently as she checked her phone when the gang was in the car heading towards Rivertown. Why Xiao Yu? Are you number one? Elder Fang asked with a smiling face from beside her. No, it's not me. Xiao Yu pouted with slight unhappiness. I was the one who defeated the young lord of Sea Serpent Island. Instead of giving me first place, they gave it to my brother. So unfair. What an uncrowned champion. This is shady. Didn't they say no rankings for those who didn't participate in the competition? Xiao Yu remarked with dissatisfaction while the rest around her chuckled. Establishing a sacred sect at the age of 20. Do you think he needs to get in the arena? Besides, you're his sister. How could anyone think Xiao Xian is weaker than you? Said Guan Shuqing to Xiao Yu smilingly. That is still unfair. The championship should be mine. The first female champion in history. Xiao Yu trotted to Wang Xian with displeasure. But subsequently she exclaimed with excitement, Brother, you were simply dashing just now. I have always been dashing. Wang Xian chuckled. The entire underworld is heated. All of them are discussing Dragon Sect. Brother, the Medical Saint Sect and Xiao Clan are quite strong. If they really turn up in 3 days, do we need to get those babies from the Dragon Palace in advance? Haha, and that blue whale of a sister-in-law, Qingyue. I'm sure it will freak them out. Xiao Yu held Wang Xian's arm as she commented excitedly, using her imagination. Do we need the members of Dragon Palace to be here? Till then, you can just transform into the invincible divine dragon and take down a sacred sect all by yourself, said Wang Xian jokingly. Brother, you. Xiao Yu stared at him furiously. The moment she thought of what she looked like after the transformation, her hair stood on end. If she had to turn into a divine dragon for an extended period, she would be infuriated by her own appearance. Okay, Xiao Yu is the cutest of all, said Wang Xian hurriedly upon seeing her angry look. I hope all of them will come in 3 days. Otherwise, the Dragon Sect will need to take the trouble to seek them out one by one. A trace of murderous intent flashed in Wang Xian's eyes as he spoke. He would not let any one of them off who wanted his life. He would not let off all the forces like Medical Saint Sect, Qiao Clan, Wu family and so on. They had to pay a bloody price for what they'd done today. The vehicle continued its way to Rivertown. They arrived in Rivertown in the evening. When they entered the city, a fleet of luxurious cars emerged out of nowhere around them. More than hundreds of them drove by the side of their cars. Without any communication, these cars lined up in a row in front of them. With car plates of Rivertown, they escorted the car to the villa. Subsequently, these people in the luxurious cars did not get out and drove off immediately. All the big shots of Rivertown were sitting in the cars as they swept a glance with awe at the villa. That was the house of the Dragon King, founder of a sacred sect. It was the sacred ground of all people in Rivertown. Wang Xian smiled at those families and magnates who curried favors. Back in the villa, he lay on the sofa comfortably, sipping a cup of tea. He took out his phone and scrolled through the updates in the underworld. Dragon King established a sacred sect with 50 inborn experts. Unparalleled Dragon King emerged as the champion of the outstanding young heroes. The most terrifying young man Wang Xian, the Dragon King. Dragon Sect's pilgrimage in 3 days. Will it perish or shock the underworld? Newly established Dragon King issued a Dragon Sect killing order to Medical Saint Sect, Qiao Clan, Wu family and the underworld was once again shaken up because of Wang Xian, and this time, it was unprecedented heat. Chapter 454, Sacred Sect, Devil Sects. Chapter 454, Sacred Sect, Devil Sects. The entire underworld was discussing the establishment of the Dragon Sect. What happened on the competition field of the Outstanding Young Heroes competition was beyond the expectations of any forces. Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown killed the disciples of the Medical Saint Sect. A dozen-odd young men appeared and swept aside all the demon-like supreme talents. Medical Saint Sect issued a killing order, 8 forces accepted it and attempted to kill Wang Xian. Following this, Wang Xian established his sacred sect. The Dragon Sect was formed and killed 29 inborn experts from 8 other forces. The Dragon King announced the Dragon Sect's killing order. They were going after all the forces who had accepted the killing order from the Medical Saint Sect and the Medical Saint Sect, among which there was another sacred clan. The shocking incidents that happened over the course of a day were even more than what had happened in the entire year prior. Everyone in the underworld was shocked and was discussing the events. And as for the name of Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown, everyone had now chosen to call him the Dragon King. Dragon King of the Dragon Sect. That was also an honorific name for an unparalleled expert, and Wang Xian was clearly qualified. However, a few shocking announcements were made over the Underworld website on the second day. In 3 days, our Medical Saint Sect will lead all our experts to annihilate the Dragon Sect in Rivertown. Annihilate the Sacred Sect. In 3 days, our Qiao clan will lead all our experts to annihilate the Dragon Sect in Rivertown. Annihilate the Sacred Sect. In 3 days, our Wu family will lead all our experts to annihilate the Dragon Sect in Rivertown. Annihilate the Sacred Sect. One after another, a total of 8 messages were published on the morning of the second day. In 3 days they would be annihilating the Dragon Sect when the Dragon Sect held their pilgrimage. The messages were just as the people in the underworld had expected. Even so, when the Medical Saint Sect and Qiao clan made the statements, they still surprised the entire underworld. Battle of the Sacred Sects. It has been a long time since there's been a battle of the Sacred Sects in the underworld. That's too insane. The insane Dragon King of the Dragon Sect has challenged 2 sacred sects at the same time. Together with the 7 first-class forces, the coalition's strength will be beyond everyone's imagination. The Medical Saint Sect and the Qiao clan have been totally infuriated. No, we can't say that they are infuriated. Instead, it's the infuriated Dragon King that wants a deadly battle against them. In 3 days there will be an unparalleled huge battle. If the Medical Saint Sect, Qiao clan and the 7 first-class forces were to mobilize all their strength, how many inborn experts would there be? The 7 first-class forces will have roughly 25 inborn experts. As for the Medical Saint Sect, no one really knows. However, as a sacred sect known for refining elixir pills, they will have no less than 35. The inborn experts from the Qiao clan won't be fewer than 25. Together, that's an insane 70 inborn experts. Battle of the Century. This would be the battle of the century. How is the Dragon Sect going to withstand the strength of close to 3 sacred sects? You can now place your bets on the Underworld website. In 3 days, will the Dragon Sect be annihilated or will it be Medical Saint Sect and the rest? Time to place your bets. The entire Underworld had erupted because of the announcement made by the Medical Saint Sect, Qiao clan and the 7 first-class forces. The Dragon Sect will definitely be annihilated. The Medical Saint Sect is one of the few sacred sects with the strongest strength. Their strength won't be something a newly established Dragon Sect could possibly match, let alone the coalition with the Qiao clan and the other forces. I'm also of the opinion that the Dragon King of the Dragon Sect is too arrogant to challenge so many forces at the same time. This isn't domineering. It's courting his own demise. He's still young and full of vigor after all. He must have thought that he could go against 2 Saint-class forces with 50 inborn experts as disciples. He probably hasn't considered the supreme elders of the Medical Saint Sect and the Laozu of the Qiao clan. The Laozu of the Qiao clan is incredibly strong. In the ranking of the unparalleled experts he is ranked 10th. He's an old monster that has lived for over 100 years. The supreme elder of the Medical Saint Sect is also definitely terrifying existence above the inborn realm. Moreover, no one really knows how many supreme elders of the Medical Saint Sect are still alive. Although the 50 inborn experts from the Dragon Sect are strong, the only one who has the strength above inborn realm would probably be the Dragon King. Moreover, the authenticity of his strength has yet to be verified. When the domineering announcements were made on the Underworld website, everyone was discussing the topic fervently. As for the pilgrimage to the Dragon Sect in 3 days, many martial artists didn't have high hopes for the Dragon Sect after analysis. Although a newly established sacred sect was shocking, the strength of traditional sacred sects was beyond the imagination of ordinary people. It was especially so for Medical Saint Sect, which was widely regarded as the sacred sect with the most resources. There were also many martial artists in the underworld who bluntly claimed that the Dragon Sect would definitely be annihilated and the rise of the Dragon King would just be a flash in the pan. This was because the second strongest expert in the underworld, the Lord of the Sea Serpent Island, was an expert that was close to being peerless. The Dragon King from the Dragon Sect had killed the 2 experts that were with his son and even attempted to kill his only son. As the second strongest unparalleled expert in the underworld, he wouldn't just let this matter go. Considering the style and personality of the Lord of Sea Serpent Island, he would definitely go after the life of the Dragon King. At this moment, although Dragon King had terrifying talents, he would definitely be killed if he faced the Lord of Sea Serpent Island. Undoubtedly. The bets on the Dragon Sect being annihilated has hit over 50 billion, while those betting on the Dragon Sect annihilating the Medical Saint Sect is a meager billion plus. Hehe. Wang Xian revealed a smile after seeing the comments left on the Underworld website. Medical Saint Sect, Qiao Clan and the Lord of Sea Serpent Island. Wang Xian's eyes flickered. Just some time ago he'd been fearful when he first entered the Underworld website and saw these names. And now he was going to annihilate them. What an interesting turn of events. In that case we will know the outcome in 3 days. Ruthlessness gleamed in Wang Xian's eyes. At this moment Wang Xian suddenly saw a thread being pinned on the top. The thread was started by Donghua Sacred Sect. Just the name of Donghua Sacred Sect was enough to guarantee its weight. Everyone in the Underworld had the highest regard for it to the point of worship. It was also the strongest sacred sect. The strongest expert in the Underworld was Nie Wushuang from Donghua Sacred Sect. All along there was a commonly known slogan, Donghua rules supreme in the Underworld. One could easily tell the strength and status of the Donghua Sacred Sect from the slogan. The announcement made by the Donghua Sacred Sect shocked everyone. The return of diabolism. The short announcement of only 4 words still made many people dumbfounded. Diabolism referred to those who took the lives of people to increase their cultivation. In the Qing dynasty, diabolism had once ruled the entire Underworld. The Underworld was filled with killings and crime everywhere during that period. Subsequently, the sacred sects, with Donghua Sacred Sect as the leader, forced diabolism into seclusion. And now, diabolism had returned. When the announcement was made, all the information about diabolism was popping out. The competition for the Outstanding Young Heroes chart has just ended. The ominous-looking young man ambushed a first-class force, killed everyone and made them into zombies. The flower monk killed dozens of people with brutal means, sucked out their blood and made them into bloody Buddha beads. Devil Corpse Palace, Devil Spirits Temple, Remains and the Reed Spirits are the 4 main forces of diabolism. They have surfaced with other hidden forces of diabolism. Wang Xian looked at the various messages and frowned. The return of diabolism. I heard about it from Sui Huang previously. There are 2 reasons why the forces of the Underworld are relatively weaker compared to those in the international stage. One reason was because of the disappearance of the 9 cauldrons, while the other was because of diabolism. Chapter 455, The Battle of the Ages, 1. Chapter 455, The Battle of the Ages, 1. The weakening of the Underworld was not a given since ancient times. In ancient times, the Underworld forces could sweep the entire world around. Even the emperors were unable to manage the Underworld back then, and could do nothing but leave them alone. On top of that, some emperors were sect masters of ancestral sections. One can imagine how glorious the Underworld was back then. However, the entire Underworld forces were significantly weakened with the disappearance of the 9 cauldrons and the rising diabolism. 9 cauldrons were used to secure the luck for the entire nation. One of the greatest uses for them was to gather spiritual qi. The so-called spiritual qi was also known as spiritual strength. The 9 cauldrons could gather spiritual energy, and filled the land of China, which proved to be much more effective for cultivators. However, the spiritual energy disappeared in the land of China after 9 cauldrons went missing. With this, diabolism emerged. The cultivation of diabolism relied mainly on bloodline, and spiritual energy was just supplementary. This resulted in a much faster progression in their cultivations for diabolism cultivators than the usual martial artists. The art of cultivation in diabolism was based on bloodline. They were eccentric people who massacred martial artists of the Underworld to enhance their own strength. This, in turn, sparked a bloodbath in the Underworld with never-ending massacres for decades. 50 years ago, Nie Wushuang from Donghua Sacred Sect emerged and gathered a group of sacred sects to besiege diabolism. As invincible as Nie Wushuang was, he defeated several sect leaders of diabolism, forcing them into seclusion, after which they dared not make themselves known again. Since then, peace had been restored in the Underworld. But, the strength of the Underworld dropped by 3 to 4 times due to the countless casualties after going through the war with diabolism. Back then, the number of inborn experts in the Underworld was not more than 100 people. As the forces in the underworld were weakened, those foreign forces who had been eyeing the immense resources and ancient legacies of the underworld came to plunder. The underworld had received yet another major blow for more than 10 years. For the last 50 years, only 20 to 30% of the strength was restored in the underworld. As such, it was still weak. With the rise of diabolism again, another bloody storm could be looming over the underworld once again. The country should be able to impose sanctions on them if diabolism is going out for innocent killings like they used to. The situation is not as serious as I imagined, but conflicts will increase. Wang Xian pondered to himself when he read the messages on the underworld. The era had changed. With modern technology, even inborn experts could not withstand the bombings. Only when one advanced beyond the inborn level could they survive under the bombings. However, Dan realm experts had to avoid those strategic weapons too. Not to mention those destructive weapons like nuclear bombs which would cause even Dan realm experts to be blown to ashes. With the government in control, diabolism would not dare to go around killing the innocent. However, it was inevitable for a bloodbath to occur in the underworld. Diabolism? I don't care if they are members of diabolism or not as long as they don't provoke me. Wang Xian scrolled through his phone without any concerns. However, the underworld erupted because of the rise of diabolism. The older generations knew more about it while the younger generations knew nuts. Refining corpses and blood aura sounds very impressive. The thought of controlling dozens of zombies for combat seemed awesome. I heard about diabolism from my grandfather. They are gruesome. After they kill you, they will extract your blood essence or turn you into a corpse. You will not rest in peace even after you die. Even Donghua Sacred Sect had released this message on the underworld. They must be compelling. The old forces of diabolism can even take over the entire underworld. If not for the leadership of Nie Wushuang of Donghua Sacred Sect, the underworld would still be dominated by diabolism. The underworld has been chaotic recently with the rising of diabolism, emerging Dragon King, and the battle between Dragon Sect, Medical Saint Sect, and Xiao Clan. The entire underworld is in an upheaval. Anyone want to meet up in a group and watch the Battle of the Ages in 2 days? Let's go to Rivertown. The battle is between the sacred sects. However, the Dragon King has already mentioned he will be receiving the arrival of Medical Saint Sect and Xiao Clan. The rest of the forces would be best off avoiding it. Otherwise they might get killed by mistake. That's right. We should stay a distance away and wait for the news on the outcome. Forget about going over. Otherwise they will mistake us as people from the opposite party. We can wait for news in Rivertown tomorrow. Wait for what news? The Dragon Sect will be annihilated. Even if we cannot witness the Battle of the Ages with our own eyes the day after tomorrow, we must wait for the first-hand outcome. Let's head to Rivertown tomorrow. Everyone was focused on the battle. Even the rise of diabolism was not any more impressive than the current battle of the sacred sects. Besides, this battle would not end with the fall of one or the other. The day before the Dragon Sect pilgrimage. As the dominant and longest-running ancestral sect, the valley at Medical Saint Sect was surrounded by a wide variety of plants. Some of the plants were looking gorgeous, blooming large flowers. Some of them gave off a faint scent. From afar, the valley seemed like an outdoor fairyland amid the mist. It was extremely difficult for outsiders to enter the valley. Even inborn experts could end up dead in the invisible defense around the valley. At this time, a group of Medical Saint Sect disciples stood in the middle of the valley. There were more than 5,000 people, including disciples from 2 families in the Medical Saint Sect, among which about 500 of them were standing over there. These 500 people were the core strength of the Medical Saint Sect. 2 white-haired old men in the lead were sitting on the top, with one wearing green with 2 emerald arms. Another one wore a Taoist robe with 8 trigrams on it with purple sparks on his palms. 2 of them sat there while the 2 sect masters and the rest of the disciples stood below. Everyone get ready to annihilate the Dragon Sect tomorrow. The old man in the Taoist robe sounded flat when he announced this to the 500 Medical Saint Sect disciples. His tone sounded gentle as if he was making some usual announcements. It seems like Medical Saint Sect has not entered a battle for 50 years. We have been staying too low. It's time we went out and have fresh air, said another old man plainly. To them, it seemed like a piece of cake to annihilate the Dragon Sect tomorrow. Yes, Supreme Elder. The group of disciples bowed and answered below the stage. They did not have much fighting spirit or excitement. With 2 Supreme Elders around, annihilating a new sacred sect was not a big deal. Amongst 500 people there were 40 inborn experts. The rest were either level 8 or 9 martial artists or half-step to inborn. This was how formidable the Medical Saint Sect was. With a vast amount of resources and the daunting arts of refining elixir pills, no forces could imagine waging a battle against them. Not to mention they were joining hands with Qiao clan to annihilate this sacred sect. Chapter 456, The Battle of the Ages 2. Chapter 456, The Battle of the Ages 2. They are just a small dragon sect after all, led by an arrogant kid who thinks he can act as such with just 50 inborn level disciples. Tomorrow we will crush them easily together with the Medical Saint Sect. At this very moment, within Qiao clan in Nanjing, a crude and bad-tempered old man sat in the middle. Before him there were 700 to 800 people, among which several inborn experts with terrifying auras stood in 2 lines to his left and right. All of them had cold expressions. Laozu, that brat from Dragon Sect, has 50 inborn experts. Moreover, all of them are very young. He probably obtained some incredible treasures. Otherwise he wouldn't be able to rise up so rapidly. Before him, an old man in yellow uniform commented solemnly. He wasn't wearing the outfit of the Qiao clan. Moreover, most of the people here weren't wearing the outfit of the Qiao clan. Instead, they were from other families. The old man that spoke was from the Wu family. As for the others, they were from the other 6 families. The Qiao clan had gathered the other 7 first-class forces. In the field there was a total of 50 inborn experts. Although they weren't releasing their aura, ordinary people would still feel suffocated in their presence. A 20-year-old brat possesses such insane strength and influence. If one says he did not have any mysterious encounter, no one would believe. Regardless, we will know tomorrow. Laozu revealed a faint smirk and continued, they must be courting death to kill the disciples of my Qiao clan and challenge 2 Saint-class forces at the same time. That's right. That Dragon King is too full of himself. With the Qiao clan and the supreme elders from the Medical Saint Sect tomorrow, annihilating a dragon sect will be a walk in the park. Below the stage, the sect leaders from various sects chuckled. Initially, the sudden appearance of the sacred sect, Dragon Sect, had made them feel hopeless. They had offended a sacred clan. Moreover, it was a terrifying existence with 50 inborn experts. If the Dragon Sect wanted to take revenge on these first-class forces, it would be a simple task. However, that brazen Dragon King announced he wanted to kill all of them, including the Medical Saint Sect and the Qiao clan. He even added that on the day of the pilgrimage he would be awaiting their arrival. Absolute arrogance. Looking at the Laozu and the powerful disciples of the Qiao clan, they were relieved and excited. There were already 50 inborn experts gathered here. Moreover, they had existences that were above the inborn realm. Although the 50 of them might not be a match for the 50 inborn experts from the Dragon Sect, they still had Medical Saint Sect with them. The Qiao clan had clearly contacted the Medical Saint Sect, but they had no idea of the exact strength of the Medical Saint Sect. Nonetheless, they were certain that the Medical Saint Sect would be stronger than the Qiao clan. With their 50 inborn experts together with 30 to 40 inborn experts from the Medical Saint Sect, the Dragon Sect would still be slaughtered even if they had hidden their full strength. Furthermore, they clearly had more experts that were above the inborn realm. The Dragon Sect must be annihilated and the Dragon King must die. Everyone was feeling extremely confident. Today, countless martial artists from the Underworld headed towards River Town. They came to the beach enthusiastically and looked at the island a long distance away. There. The Dragon King will be holding his pilgrimage on that island. It's too far. We can only wait for the outcome here. It will only begin tomorrow. We have to come early the next day. There are some people who have started a thread on the Underworld forum. The Wu family and the other 7 forces have gone to the Qiao clan. The Battle of the Ages is about to start. Some martial artists were discussing. More and more martial artists arrived at River Town. Almost everyone in the Underworld had their attention focused on this place. Focus on the pilgrimage of the Dragon Sect. Is everything in order? Wang Xian arrived at the floating island and asked Mo Qinglong with a smile. It shouldn't be a problem to hold 5,000 people, answered Mo Qingling with a smile. Wang Xian saw the decorations of the floating island. It was prepared for 2 days later. As for welcoming the Medical Saint Sect, Qiao clan and the other forces, it would be on the other island beside it. That would be their burial site. 2 ordinary inborn experts wouldn't be a match for a single Dragonian. Moreover, he had Xiaoyu, Elder Fong, Sun Lingxiu and the girls with him. The crux was Lan Qingyue. Wang Xian smiled to himself and wasn't worried about the huge battle that would be happening the next day. Even if they had even stronger experts, he would still be around. The Dragon King of the Dragon Sect. Standing on the training field built on the floating island, Wang Xian looked to the boundless sea. From him, an aura of invincibility was emitted. This aura was even above the Dan realm. River Town was a place with frequent rain. The next morning the sky was overcast. At about 8 in the morning, ominous clouds had gathered and rain seemed imminent. However, crowds of martial artists had been gathered at the beach of River Town since early in the morning. Are the Medical Saint Sect, Qiao clan and the other forces here? I don't know. However, since the Medical Saint Sect and Qiao clan have made their statements, they will definitely be here today. This is too darned exhilarating. Life and death battle of the sacred sects. The loser will probably be erased from the underworld. News from Nanjing yesterday reported that the 20-odd inborn experts from the 7 forces have gone to the Qiao clan. Wu family and the other forces have mobilized all they could gather. The Wu family and the other forces can't be passive in this. If they can't annihilate the Dragon Sect today, they will be annihilated in the future. The 7 forces are mobilizing 20-odd inborn experts. Together with those from the Qiao clan and Medical Saint Sect, won't the number of inborn experts reach 70 or even 80? The strength of the Dragon Sect is too far from the strength of Medical Saint Sect and Qiao clan. They are here. Those are the people from the Qiao clan. They are here. At this juncture, a light drizzle started to fall. A group of people was approaching the island with a vengeance. They had 800 or so people. A crude and rowdy old man was leading the group and he was wearing the outfit of the Qiao clan. From him, one could feel his imposing will without him getting angry. Behind the old man, all the experts from the Qiao clan were following, and they had faint smiles on their faces. The Wu family and the other forces stood to the left and right of the Qiao clan. A strong aura swept forward. Even though they had not released their aura, the terrifying demeanor still shocked those who had gathered at the beach as they quickly moved aside and opened up a lane. That's Qiao Longchuan from the Qiao clan, a half-step to Dan realm expert. If he's standing behind the old man, that old man must be the Laozu of the Qiao clan. Indeed. Even the Laozu of the Qiao clan is here. The vibes from this group of people are too terrifying. Even when I'm several thousand meters away from them, I can still feel a faint pressure. The weakest among them are level 8 martial artists. In fact, almost everyone at the front is an inborn expert. About 50 inborn experts. Just considering the strength of Qiao clan and the other 7 forces, they have already gathered 50 inborn experts. That's the same as the strength of the Dragon Sect. The crowd looked at Qiao clan and the other 7 forces in shock. Just the Qiao clan and the other 7 forces had gathered 50 inborn experts. Moreover, they were led by the Laozu of the Qiao clan. If they considered the even stronger Medical Saint Sect, wouldn't it be? The Dragon King of the Dragon Sect is too arrogant. The Dragon Sect will definitely be annihilated this time. A meteoric rise will eventually end in a gruesome way because of his arrogance. Chapter 457, The Battle of the Ages, 3. Chapter 457, The Battle of the Ages, 3. Splash. Fine rain sprinkled down. The group of Qiao clan came to the seaside and stood there while the surroundings plunged into silence. Everyone watched them with horror in their eyes. Too strong, a young man remarked with awe and dodgy eyes. Have the people from Medical Saint Sect arrived yet? A formidable elder from Qiao clan looked around and asked in a deep voice. They're here. The old man looked behind him. In green and red uniforms, the group of Medical Saint Sect experts was flitting in their direction. 2 elders were traveling in the sky. The way they traveled was not comparable to any of those inborn experts who could only flit in the air temporarily. They were hovering in the air for real, just like birds gliding in the air. On top of that, their speed in the air was not any slower than on land. In the realm above inborn realm, Dan realm experts could fly in the sky. This was another important hallmark of Dan realm experts. What? 2 Dan realm experts? They are the supreme elders of Medical Saint Sect, from Hua family and Laozu from Bian family. SSS, the real unparalleled experts, unparalleled experts. The Laozu of Qiao clan is also from the same realm. There are 3 unparalleled experts. The crowd watched the supreme elders of Medical Saint Sect in the air with disbelief. Some of the elders within Qiao clan looked over with appalling looks and flickering eyes. The Medical Saint Sect lives up to their name. They have 2 unparalleled experts who are simply compelling. Medical Saint Sect also brought 40 inborn experts here. That's great. Now that they have 90 inborn experts, it will be a breeze to annihilate Dragon Sect. We might not even have many losses. 3 unparalleled experts. Even though the Dragon King is also an unparalleled expert, he will perish under the joint attack of 3 equivalent-leveled experts. The people from 7 forces including Wu family had thrills flushing in their eyes. With so many experts around, what was there to be afraid of? Old Hua, old Bian, since we're all here, let's go. Laozu of Qiao clan was not surprised by the 2 unparalleled experts of Medical Saint Sect. The 2 strong families, Huas and Biens, had been 2 sacred clans since a long time ago. The 2 families had too many casualties such that they joined hands to establish the Medical Saint Sect. Hence, it was not surprising to have 2 unparalleled experts in Medical Saint Sect. Let's go. We'll eliminate that brazen brat today. Medical Saint Sect has not struck for the past 50 years. Today we're out for some fresh air. An old man revealed a faint smile on his face. Let's go. We shall see what is backing this insolent brat. Laozu of Qiao clan chortled and ascended to the air, exuding terrifying might. Let's go. I'll let the people in the underworld know today that no one lives after killing the disciples of Medical Saint Sect. The old man from Medical Saint Sect exclaimed softly. Though it was soft, the voice traveled to miles away. The 3 unparalleled experts took to the air and flitted towards the island in the sea. The disciples of Medical Saint Sect, Qiao clan, and the remaining 7 forces left and were on the heels of them. But they set their foot on the surface of the water and flitted ahead at a rapid speed. They are simply compelling. Is this the strength of 2 sacred sects? With close to hundreds of inborn experts, who else can't they annihilate? The Dragon Sect and Dragon King are finished this time since there are so many inborn experts from Medical Saint Sect and Qiao clan. Not to mention the 3 unparalleled experts. The crowd at the beach watched as horror filled their faces. That arrogant brat, get out and accept your doom. Just then they heard an indignant, mighty bellow coming from a far distance. I think we can check on the bodies of the Dragon Sect later on. There's no doubt about it. 3 unparalleled experts that can overturn anything. Let's quickly place our bets on the Underworld Forum. Given the combined strength of Medical Saint Sect and Qiao clan, annihilating a Dragon Sect is just a piece of cake, the crowd exclaimed loudly at the seaside. Meanwhile, news about the Battle of Sacred Sects in Rivertown was updated on the Underworld Forum. 3 unparalleled experts are leading over 90 inborn experts to annihilate Sacred Sect. Dragon King of Dragon Sect cannot be brazen anymore. How dare he proclaim he'll be able to annihilate Medical Saint Sect and Qiao clan. They can forget about a pilgrimage since they will soon be finished. Many people were gloating over the misfortune on the Underworld Forum as they watched. Countless people from the Underworld were extremely jealous of a 20-year-old young man establishing the Dragon Sect. Seeing that the Dragon Sect and Dragon King were about to be annihilated, many people clapped their hands in celebration. Dare you to be insolent. Unfortunately, we're unable to watch what is going on inside. It's a battle of the unparalleled experts. A young man sighed as he looked out to the sea. Let's go. Don't make any moves unless necessary. Just then, the crowd at the beach witnessed a score of people flitting towards the island in the sea. All of them were slightly stunned as they revealed shocking looks on their faces. All of them are inborn experts. Look at their clothes. They are Sacred Clan, Sacred Clan. What? Which Sacred Clan? What are they doing by heading out to the island now? Sui Clan of Shangjing. Those are from the Sui Clan. Gosh, they went over. Could the Sui Clan be on the same side as Medical Saint Sect and Qiao Clan? No, if that's the case, they should have left together with the Medical Saint Sect. Could it be? What's the situation now? Is another Sacred Clan involved? All of them were slightly stunned when they saw a score of inborn experts flitting towards the island. Everyone was petrified. Another Sacred Clan is involved, and they could be here to assist the Dragon Sect. If they were here to assist Dragon Sect, the stakes are getting higher for this battle. 4 Saint-class forces involved, that's too scary. Everyone was shocked. Here comes another mighty force. At this time, another exclamation came from the side while all turned around immediately. An old man followed by a juvenile alongside him. That juvenile looked very young with a long sword in his hand. A group of people was trailing behind them. How dare someone try to kill my master? Tired of living. Just then the juvenile at the front let out a cold bellow. With a swift movement, he flitted to the island in the sea, while the old man beside him was hovering in the air. The various experts on their heels gave off domineering oppression. This. All the people were shocked by what they saw, especially when they noticed the huge word Shao on their clothing. Their eyes were wide. Shao Clan Shangjing. Another sacred clan. This is the 5th Saint-class forces. Gosh, is this going to be the battle of the century? The juvenile at the forefront is Shao Ran. He's the youngest inborn expert now. The mighty young clan leader of Shao Clan. Chapter 458, The Battle of the Ages 4. Chapter 458, The Battle of the Ages 4. What did Shao Ran mean when he said they must be courting death to want to kill his master? There are 5 Saint-class forces. 5 Saint-class forces are heading to that island right now. That's the strength of about 1/5 of the Underworld. This is insane. Shao Ran's master definitely isn't from the Medical Saint Sect or the Qiao clan. If he had said that, could it be? That old man must be the Laozu of the Shao clan. Oh gosh. Another unparalleled expert has appeared. I wonder if the Laozu of Sui clan is around. The appearance of Sui clan and Shao clan in quick succession had shocked the spectating crowd. It was especially so for the clan leader of the Shao clan to make the statement that they must be courting death to kill his master. As a result, many people had an idea in mind. The Dragon King of the Dragon Sect was the master of Shao Ran. This wasn't a baseless conjecture but one of reasoning and probabilities. First, the Dragon King had reached a higher realm than the inborn realm at just the age of 20. Second, the sister of the Dragon King had reached inborn level and even defeated the young lord of Sea Serpent Island before the age of 20. Third, there were many young experts in the Dragon Sect. Combining all 3 reasons, all the young inborn experts seemed to be related to the Dragon King. In that case, the reason why Shao Ran from the Shao clan could reach the inborn realm might very well be because of the Dragon King. If he was the disciple of the Dragon King, one could also foresee the relationship between the Dragon Sect and the Shao clan. As for the Sui clan, no one really knew the reason. Nonetheless, they must be here to aid the Dragon King. 2 sacred clans had come to reinforce them. Gulp. 2 sacred clans are here to aid the Dragon Sect. It's hard to tell now who will emerge victorious. Medical Saint Sect, Qiao clan and 7 other forces against the Dragon Sect, Shao clan and the Sui clan. That's a battle of the ages. In that case, it's still hard to tell who will be annihilated. At the beach, the spectating crowd looked towards the faraway island with conflicting emotions. With 5 Saint-class forces gathered there, that was almost equivalent to 1/5 of the strength of the entire Underworld. The Battle of the Ages would be beginning soon. The appearance of the Sui clan and the Shao clan had caused an incomparably huge ruckus in the Underworld. At this very moment, on the island above the sea, the supreme elders of the Medical Saint Sect and the Laozu of the Qiao clan hovered in the air. The disciples of the Medical Saint Sect, Qiao clan and the experts from the 7 other forces stood below them and were staring ahead with smiles. Before them, Wang Xian sat in a chair with a faint smile. Xiao Yu, Elder Fong, Lan Qingyue, Guan Shuqing, Sun Lingxiu and the others stood by his side. The 50 Dragonians stood behind him and stared at the group of people with intense killing intent. That's the Dragon King of the Dragon Sect. In the air, the Laozu of Qiao clan looked down on Wang Xian and asked coldly, "Qiao clan? Medical Saint Sect?" Wang Xian stood up and looked towards the 3 Dan realm experts in the air. His lips curved into a smile as he asked, "Is everyone here now? I admire your fearless bravery." An old man from the Medical Saint Sect descended to the ground gradually and looked across Wang Xian's group before continuing. 50 inborn experts. Not too shabby. You are incredible to establish this powerful sect at just the age of 20. However, what a shame. Flippant and insolent, ignorant and dauntless. Those who do not know fear are those who are dead. I'll burn you to ashes. As the Supreme Elder of the Medical Saint Sect spoke, purplish flames started emitting from his body. A floating island. It seems like you have inherited the legacy of the ancestral sect. It's no surprise that you have risen so rapidly. Another Supreme Elder of the Medical Saint Sect looked around him and eventually focused on the island a short distance away. He squinted his eyes and excitement flashed in them. A floating island was something that existed in the legends. It was extremely rare. The Laozu of Qiao clan looked over and greed beamed in his eyes. He turned to Wang Xian and said, "You have enjoyed a meteoric rise, but you will fall as rapidly. I'll definitely annihilate you and your dragon sect after you offended the Qiao clan and killed the disciple of our Qiao clan." Kill? All the disciples of the Qiao clan shouted and released their stifling aura. The experts from the other 7 forces also shrouded their aura forward. The terrifying aura and intense killing intent from the 50 inborn experts even caused the rain to stop falling. All your 50 inborn disciples, and you are responsible for the death of my son and the disciples of our medical saint sect. Today all of you will die. I'm not going to let your dragon sect have a day of peace. Kill? The sect leader of the medical saint sect glowered at Wang Xian. It is impossible for us to live under the same sky after you killed my son. Kill! All the experts and disciples of the medical saint sect shouted loudly. The aura of the experts shrouded towards Wang Xian. The air above the entire island solidified. It was as though there was a separate space. As rain fell on it, it dripped down towards the end. There's no way you can go against us with just 50 inborn experts. Today will be the day you die. The family head of the Wu family pulled out his long sword with a hideous expression and stared harshly at Wang Xian. With just a meager 50 inborn experts, you dare to announce you are going to annihilate us. A half-step to Dan Realm old man from the Qiao clan shouted, "Leave no one alive. Everyone, any feud can be resolved." At this moment, a voice resounded from behind them. Everyone was taken aback and immediately turned around. 20 people flew over. The one leading the group was an old man in the Sui clan outfit. The oldest son of Sui Huang, a half-step to Dan Realm expert. The 20 experts from Sui clan arrived and headed towards Wang Xian to the astonishment of the Qiao clan and medical saint sect. They took a glance at Guan Shuqing and gave a friendly smile before turning to Wang Xian. "Dragon King, my father has asked us to come over." Kiki. The old man chuckled and summarized simply. Wang Xian was surprised. He had not expected Sui Huang to send 20 inborn experts from the Sui clan over. For them to come here under such circumstances, it was equivalent to announcing to the world they were with the dragon sect. A standoff between sacred sects like this was scarce. A part of the reason is because of Shuqing. Nonetheless, this old man is pretty good. Wang Xian chuckled. "When everything ends, I'll head over personally to thank Sui Huang." The old man smiled and turned to face the supreme elders of the medical saint sect and the Laozu of Qiao clan. He bowed slightly and said, "Seniors, there's no feud that can't be resolved. Why do we have to resort to violence?" Sui clan? The 2 supreme elders of the medical saint sect and the Laozu of the Qiao clan frowned. They glowered at them and replied, "This has nothing to do with your Sui clan. Could it be that you want to be involved in this conflict?" "I'm here on my father's order and I'm really sorry about what happened. However, I feel that we could still sit down and talk about it." "TSK. Sit down and talk about it?" "He dared to kill the disciples of our medical saint sect. We have to take revenge for them. The dragon sect must be annihilated today. If the Sui clan would like to be involved in this mess, don't blame me when things turn ugly." The sect leader of the medical saint sect stared at the group from the Sui clan and continued, "Your Laozu isn't here. With just you guys here, we just have more to kill." The group from the Sui clan frowned and looked bitter. "In that case, we have no option but to offend you. 70 inborn experts? Great. We just have to kill 70 inborn experts," exclaimed the Laozu of Qiao clan coldly. "What if you count our Xiao clan in?" You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.